Hello and welcome to the Bundesliga show, a Sunday special for the second week in a row for you guys. Yeah, we've got a watch along with the game between VfB Stuttgart and Bayer Leverkusen. So yeah, it's another massive game. It's third against first in the Bundesliga table today. And Peter, are you looking forward to this one?
Oh, absolutely. As you correctly pointed out, we've had a couple of blockbuster Sundays here. This is the second one in 7 days, and it's a beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon in the Bundesrepublik. Wish I were there, but I'm cozy and curled up on the couch here with my lucky coffee mug here in the States, looking at this beautiful Stuttgart choreo that's on there in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. So, wow, look at the Cannstatter Kurve go. If anybody is keeping on this, mit der Zeit ändert sich die Perspektive, nur du bleibst Erz meiner Herz. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We haven't even gotten a ball kicked, and we're off to a beautiful start.
Yeah. They're just in dreamland, aren't they? Let's be honest, the Stuttgart fans into the last stage of the Pokal, which I believe the draw's later today as well. So they've got that to look forward to. The third in the league. They could go within, I think, 2 points of the league leaders today, which is just absolutely insane. They're literally having a fantasy season. And, I think today they've got a chance of continuing that. So, yeah, because we've only got a couple of minutes to kick off, I'm going to go straight over to you, Peter, for your prediction. I think, obviously, we did go through the predictions on Thursday. Are you sticking with your prediction, having looked at the lineups?
Yes, I will stick with Leverkusen. Although it should be noted that Josh Wagnermann is making his first Bundesliga start of the campaign. He's back from injury now. So that should prove very interesting. I have a feeling that he and Milo are going to have a little bit of trouble handing Alex Grimaldo. And Amin Adli has taken Jonas Hoffmann's starting spot as well on the Leverkusen left. For good reason, in my opinion. So I'm going to stick with my predictions of a 3-2 Leverkusen victory.
Yeah, I think I went for 2-2, didn't I? I'm going to stick with that as well. I think, obviously, after what happened yesterday, both sides have kind of got a free rein after, obviously, the Bayern Munich result. I think most people expected Bayern would be top on goal difference coming into this game, but obviously that wasn't to be and didn't even come close to being true, obviously, after that 5-1 defeat against Frankfurt yesterday. So Leverkusen could go 6 points clear if they win this game. Obviously, Bayern will have a game in hand, that one which will be replayed in January against Union Berlin. But, wow, 6 points clear just before Christmas through 15 games. It doesn't get much better. 14 games, I should say. It doesn't get much better than that for Leverkusen. So the carrot is definitely there. But, yeah, Peter, it's a really hard game, this, isn't it? Two really good teams. For me, probably the two best footballing sides in the league this year, the teams that I've enjoyed watching the most, in truth. So, Peter, what about the Stuttgart lineup? Like anyone, you already mentioned about Wagnermann starting. Anyone else in the lineup that kind of people should watch out for today?
I've been consistently impressed with Maximilian Mittelstädt, the former Hertha left back. I think he's started 4 games in a row now. Tactically speaking, it's very, very interesting. He bombs up that left flank, and usually later in the match, Sebastian Hoeneß will sort of reorder his position. So he's a player worth keeping an eye on. The midfield tandem of Atakan Karazor and Angelo Stiller is also quite fascinating. The way that they work, put in some absolute dog work and work their socks off in midfield. And of course, this striking danger duo of Serhu Guirassy and Dennis Undav, which nobody in German footballing circles can stop talking about. So you have that. Look, what more could you possibly ask for? As you pointed out correctly, took the words right out of my mouth. 2 best teams in German football, the 2 teams that we're looking forward to watching the most. As I said, we're hoping for a really entertaining fixture this time around. Last time, Dortmund Leverkusen, we didn't get quite the amount of goals that we wanted to get. It was still an entertaining fixture. Here, we're hoping for both entertainment and plenty of instances in which, what is that phrase you use? The bag of onions gets.
That's one of my classics, I think, that one, isn't it? The onion bag or the bag of onions. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, we need to get that bag of onions moving today. Yeah, because it has been a while since we got a really high scoring watch along. Actually, as you say, there was nothing wrong with last week's game. I mean, it was a real entertaining game from start to finish, tactically and in terms of incident. But obviously, only 2 goals was maybe a little bit of a letdown. But we are underway in the Mercedes-Benz Arena as well. We're about 30 seconds on the clock. What about you, Peter? I always like to check whereabouts you're up to.
At the moment, about 10 seconds behind.
Oh, okay, 10 seconds, not too much. Just as already an injured player down, I think it's Kosunu, one of the stars of the season so far for Bayer Leverkusen. He's already down. He looks like he's taking a bad knock to his jaw, maybe even there. Looks quite bad, actually. He's out on the floor. He's been down for about 40 seconds already, and Xabi Alonso looks a little bit worried there as well. One of his key central defenders down on the turf. They're holding his ear, so looks as though he could have fallen quite badly, and maybe even his jaw as well. He's not looking too clever there, Peter.
Yeah, it looks like he took an elbow from Chris Führich, who is one of those Stuttgart players who has significantly cooled off in recent weeks since his German national team call-up in October. Yeah, this is a great cause for concern. We were consistently calling Kosuno's name last week, and also looking forward with great anticipation for his service for Côte d'Ivoire in the coming Africa Cup of Nations next month. I mean, the good news for Xabi is that Josip Stanisic, who is the Bayern right back, can play on the right side of that back three should Kosuno not be able to give it a go. And he also played quite well midweek in the Pokal and the most recent Europa League fixture. But we still hope that Odilon Kosuno is okay. Looks like they're going to do some concussion protocol. I think they're going to let him back in. They must have done the concussion protocols there while he was on the deck.
Just as Undav gets away. The first shot on target, and Hadatsky didn't deal with it that well, and it was that man Furyk as well who had it, and it's been pushed behind for a corner. Great play from actually the 2 key men really up front, Undav and Guirassy combining there to lead to Furyk getting a shot off. Wow, Undav he just gets more and more confident every game. It's fantastic to see at the minute. I mean, when he first came into the team, he didn't look that confident, but the last 4 or 5 games, wow, so good. As the corner comes in, and it's claimed by Hadatsky in the end after Guirassy initially won the ball. So already an early shot on target, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, as you correctly pointed out, Undav is growing in confidence with every game. It did break this week that he committed to play for the German national team side over Turkey. As we were discussing a little bit in the prediction show, however, I mean, German football fans, when it comes to these late bloomers, we're really getting tired of the stories, and we really, really want to see the results. And Moritz is telling me they renamed the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Did they? When did this happen?
Yeah, it looks as though it happened in summer, from what I can gather. Yeah, but it was the Mercedes-Benz Arena for years and years, wasn't it? Really, yeah. Just a few other predictions. Well, a lot of people going with my prediction too. BVB David says a 2-2 draw. Both teams playing some all right football. I think they're playing a little bit better than all right, to be honest, from what I've seen. But yeah, and Moritz also agrees with a 2-2 draw. Yeah, a lot of people predicting Stuttgart to get something out of this game. Yeah, Moritz did say that, yeah, they have apparently renamed the Mercedes-Benz Arena to the MHP Arena. Yeah, that's one of the unfortunate things in modern football, isn't it? That, yeah, the stadium names do get changed a lot. I think most stadiums still have their old traditional names as well, don't they? So I guess most of the fans will still call it the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Well, but yeah, obviously officially it's known as a new name now.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, if the thing of it is that it's not anywhere nearly as bad as it is in American sports. I mean, in American sports, it's really just awful. You still have traditional names in Germany, like the Weserstadion, like Borussia Park, like the Olympiastadion and things like this. And these are from teams that could use the extra money from the sponsorship deals, but they forgo it anyway. So I suppose it'll eventually come to the point where it's a lot like American sports. But, for the time being, we can still enjoy the fact that, we can go watch a game at the Fritz-Walter Stadion or something
Or the
like
Betzer, as it's better known. Yeah.
in Nuremberg or something like that. That's
Yeah.
It's great that we keep that. But I mean, in American sports, it's awful. Just genuinely god awful. I mean, they change the names every year based on which bank charging 30% interest on a credit card has bought out another bank. That's
Yeah.
it's horrible.
I think in English football it's quite funny actually, because I think they also have sponsors as a lot of the official names, but the fans never call it the sponsored name. That's the thing, because it changes so often that you can't get used to it, So like, for example, I think Manchester City Stadium it's only about 20 years old and it's already had like 4 names or something. So a lot of the fans still call it the City of Manchester Stadium, even though it's officially known as the Etihad Stadium. And I think there's a few examples. Yeah.
The Dortmund Ultras staged a memorable protest, several memorable protests saying, also für immer Westfalenstadion. The Signal Iduna Park is still in their hearts the Westfalenstadion. They did that a lot last year. They do it every year. I mean,
it has to be a goal for Stuttgart. Jeez, did he handball it off the line? Wow, Guirassy has just possibly missed his biggest chance in a Stuttgart shirt here. It was great play. The free kick. By the way, Hadatsky's not made a good start at all. It wasn't Guirassy actually who had the shot. I'm trying to see who it was. I think it was Wagner, man. And it looks like a world-class clearance off the line from Tapsoba. Wow, what a chance for the VfB there. That was a huge chance. They are checking, I think, for a handball potentially, but the referee's saying it came off the chest. And wow, that was one hell of a clearance off the line. A little bit worried about Hadatsky's start because he's not looked particularly strong there, just as the corner comes in from Stiller. Oh, and it's a good one too. Jeez, but it's well cleared just about, I think, again by Tapsoba there. VfB well on top. By the way, Kosanu actually got booked as well for a foul just before that. So, I mean, Peter, the VfB, what a start for them so far.
Well, they're clearly not suffering in terms of consequences, and they clearly have some decent set-piece plays that they brought to this one. Did I say consequences? I meant confidence. Yes, they brought some good set plays to this one. One can tell that. We talk a lot about Hradecky sort of being in the twilight of his career, and that is probably, he remains the weakest link in this Leverkusen side. That's why they've been setting it up to get a new keeper in net for about 18 months or so. This probably will be the last year that he stands in goal and keeps the captaincy. Hopefully they want to send him out on a high note, obviously. But yeah, he was bailed out by Edmund Tapsoba, another player who will be contesting the Africa Cup, or at least I believe he will, if Burkina Faso qualified for the competition. Germans have a kind of a soft spot for Burkina Faso, or the Upper Voltans, or the Burkinabes, or the Stallions, or whatever you want to call them, because of Jonathan Petroipa. He was always one of our favorite African players. And here we have a little bit of a breakaway. It is off the post.
Yeah. Great play from Boniface as well there, by the way. The ball was superb, and it's wow. Yeah, it smacked the post there. Nubel was completely beaten all ends up, wasn't he? And that was a big chance. Yeah. What do you think about that one, Peter? Obviously, Adli, I think he's not made many starts this season. This could even be his first league start this year. Are you surprised that he started ahead of Hoffman for this one? Or do you think Hoffman, maybe his form has dropped a little bit the last couple of weeks?
I'm very surprised. He went with Adli in the cup over Hoffman. But to go with Adli over Hoffman in the league here, I mean, that's Hoffman has been one of the best players in the Bundesliga this season. He's been one of the key transfers as well. Of course, not as vital to Leverkusen as, say, Granit Xhaka was, or perhaps even Boniface. But yeah, for him to tinker, for Xabi Alonso to tinker with that front three and go with Adli over Hoffman, that's a pretty ballsy call, I have to say. Yeah, I would give props to Xabi for making that call, and it seems like he's made the right one, because, Adli is one of those players that, he really exceeded expectations. We didn't expect a lot from the Frenchman when he first came in. We thought he'd be second or third string for many, many years to come, but he's consistently proven his critics wrong, which is what all of us football fans hope for in times like these. Here we have Adli again. I can't keep the ball into touch. I take it you're still about 10 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah, he didn't quite keep that one in. But yeah, I mean, that was great play. Boniface as well. I mean, we actually gave him a bit of stick last week, didn't we? But so far, he's had a couple of really good pieces of play. He did well to win a free kick just a minute ago again. So he looks at it as well today. Obviously, he ended up getting the equaliser in the end last week, despite probably being the worst player on the pitch for Leverkusen. So it proves that football's a funny game, isn't it, as they say? But yeah, it definitely looks a lot more at it this week from what I've seen so far. But yeah, it could easily be 1-1 or even 2-1 this game. I mean, it's been a very fast first 10 minutes, and it's hard to say who's been the better team. I mean, obviously, the first 5-7 minutes, it was definitely Stuttgart. But obviously, Leverkusen have come back strong and could easily have the lead themselves, but for the woodwork there. But the last few minutes, they've been getting through the Stuttgart press quite easily, although I say that, but Guirassy has just freed it's Wagnerman again there. Oh, that looks like a foul. No, oh, he's great play on it. Look, should have found a good position there, Leverkusen. It's Adli who runs away with the ball, finding Boniface, who once again does really well. A very strong run here. They've not been able to stop it. But he's just overran the ball there. If he'd have played the ball a second earlier, they could have had a good chance there, Leverkusen. But he's ended up with a goal kick for Nubel in the Stuttgart net. But yeah, I mean, goalkeepers are going to play a big role in this match, aren't they, Peter? Because, I mean, for me, I think, Nubel's been arguably the best keeper in the league this year. I think he's been superb. Not only his shot stopping, but also his distribution and defensive organization as well. And I just think, he's been key for them. But whereas Hadatsky, as you say, probably is the weak link in this Leverkusen side. But just how impressive you've been with Nubel so far this season?
It's very interesting that you brought that up. I'm very glad that you brought that up because I think Nubel has not been getting a lot of attention in German footballing circles for, as you correctly pointed out, his job with distribution. He is quite good. I think the only reason that I can ascertain as to why that is not the case is that people were just a little bit tired of discussing Nubel. After all of this crap going on when he left Schalke and joined Bayern München and the 2-year loan to Monaco and whether or not he would be recalled early from that loan to take Neuer's place when Neuer had that skiing accident and things like that. I think people are just fed up with the topic of Nubel in general. And meanwhile, while he's been out of the limelight, while there's not so many stories being written about him, he has matured into one of the better keepers in the league. I would say. I mean, it's not been the most the greatest year for keepers in German football. I mean, it's a striker's year. I think that we got a 3-way tie for clean sheets through nearly 14 rounds now with Blaswich, Hadreczki, and Noah Atubolo, actually, the final keeper. Okay. But Nubel he has done well. He has really matured under Hoeneß, and I guess people are just tired of talking about him. And he doesn't really seem to be a topic for the national team anymore. Bayern just signed both Neuer and Ulreich to contract extensions, so I don't think they really want him back. It should be interesting to see. And meanwhile, we're talking about Blaswich and Schwebe for the German national team. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. To be honest, I was thinking the same. Like, you wonder why the German team is doing so badly. But for me, some of the call-up selections have been bizarre the last couple of years. To be honest, like, good players are being left to the sidelines. Average players are getting called up. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, I've mentioned it with strikers as well. I mean, why is Bayer not being given a chance after that great start as well? I just don't understand that. I mean, I understand not wanting to rush him, but at the end of the day, you've got a European Championship in the summer, and in the early part of the season, he was one of the best strikers in there. Just as Stuttgart come forward again, Guirassy is going to have a strike, but it's easily blocked. Comes out again. But yeah, Peter, do you not think that sometimes the kind of selection is a little bit odd in the Mannschaft of late? Or?
Because we're desperate. And as we were talking about Undav at the beginning of this watch-along, Germans we're in this show me mentality now. With this late bloomer story stuff. Okay, it worked out for Niklas Füllkrug, but it did not work out for Führich. It did not work out for Dux. It certainly didn't work out for Kevin Behrens. I mean, it's just, you know, it's getting to the point now where it's just like, okay, why not take a chance on younger players? Statistically, Julian Nagelsmann has fielded in his 4 fixtures, 3 of his starting 11s out of his 4 have been the oldest. They're in the top 5 oldest starting 11s that Germany have had. And I think the other 2 came during the Erich Ribbeck era, which is something that we don't discuss in polite company in Germany. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's probably, Jesus, just give all of the U21s a chance at this point. You know, bring on Bayer, bring on Voltemade, bring on Yusufa Mukoko and Karim Adeyemi back and everything. I mean, we don't know what to do. We're in such dire straits. It's terrible. Damn you, English.
Yeah. But still, we've still not won anything, though. You know, so it's too early to say. But yeah, still, with all this change, I mean, obviously the Gundogan Kimmich axis still never changes. That's the problem. Oh, just a Stuttgart have a chance. Oh, it's a big save though. Big save there from Hadatsky. Wow, that we were criticizing him a little bit before, but Undav again gets a shot out really well. Gets past about 3 defenders. It looked like it was going in, but it's a really solid save there. Gets a big hand out to it as it's about to go into the bottom corner. And in the end, it's Grimaldo who clears behind for a corner there, actually, as well.
An excellent save.
It was, yeah, that was a big one there. Stuttgart, to be honest, have been really, really good. They couldn't have been much better and probably should have a goal, in truth, if it wasn't for some brilliant defending from Tapsoba and that great save from Hadatsky as well. Just as the corner comes in as well here from the VfB, who, you know, they're absolutely rocking at the minute. At home, they just look unstoppable. Stiller over the corner, who's another kind of unsung hero in this VfB team as well, after signing from Hoffenheim. But his corner isn't great, in truth, and a chance now for Leverkusen to break. Actually, the committing men forward. They've got a 3 against 3 here, actually, as Boniface plays the ball wide to Frimpong. A little bit too slow there, really, but VfB do well to get back. The energy's superb in this VfB team as well. They always, you know, they never slouches at the back. They always work hard to track back, and in the end, it's a throw in deep into the Stuttgart half. But yeah, Peter, I mean, obviously, we were just saying, like, that despite all these changes, the midfield just stays the same every year for Germany, doesn't it? With this Gundogan Kimmich axis, which just everybody knows doesn't work, but it very rarely changes. That's the bizarre thing.
Well, it used to be the Kimmich-Goretzka axis, and that one has gotten stale and failed to work. It wasn't that long ago that Toni Kroos was factoring into the midfield as well. Yeah, I think, well, Gundogan has finally gotten his chance rather late in his career. Injuries were always stopping him, ill-timed injuries for the German national team. And then, of course, Hansi Flick anointed him the captain, I think, like 2 games before he got sacked. So Nagelsmann hasn't even had a chance to potentially anoint a new captain. I mean, it's just a right fine mess. I don't have any solutions for it. I mean, we just simply have to hope against hope that somehow the team is able to feed off of the energy of what support there is in the Bundesrepublik for this hosted Euros this summer. I would tap you English to be the favorites of it, especially now that you sent Harry over to rub all of this in our face about how many talented players you
Although
have.
he didn't have his best day yesterday, let's be honest. He missed a couple of great chances yesterday. So let's hope he doesn't play like that in the Euros, which would be typical of England, to be honest. But although Stuttgart win the ball deep again here, although this time Leverkusen have the numbers and Frimpong. Oh, no. Tapsoba looks like he should clear. Yeah, he's so calm these days, Tapsoba. You know, Xabi Alonso has improved him so much as well. You know, he was a player that was much maligned for a lot of his Leverkusen career. You know, has been a guy who's just always going to make mistakes, but he's really improved. He's had a great 2023, the Burkinabe as well.
He didn't, I mean, when he first came on the scene, and it was the January transfer window of 2020, with Peter Bosch's Leverkusen, Peter Bosch, the Bosch. We immediately noticed what a special player he was, and God, he was really, really good that year. I think something also happened with all the Geisterspieler that were being played during the pandemic. Everybody was a tactics head, and everybody was watching stuff there. He got off to a monumentally awesome start in the Bundesliga, but then he dipped and struggled under Seoane, and really he never relocated his form, I think, until rather recently. Rune had the privilege of interviewing him for Bully News. A great character, a guy that we want to like, and have been able to like again. And yeah, I have to check if Burkina Faso, I think it's a 24-team tournament again this year, AFCON, is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it will be mid to late January it'll start. Everyone thinks it's early January, but normally it's more the February kind of period that players miss, I think. But obviously a lot of it depends on how deep into the tournament they go, because, I mean, I think Burkina Faso, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they got to the semi-final last time. So that would be a big loss for Leverkusen if he's missing for, say, 4 or 5 weeks of the season. That really would be a big loss.
They're missing him. They're missing Kosunu, and they're missing Boniface, a minimum of 3, I believe.
Yeah,
to make sure that Burkina Faso qualified this time around, because I'm honestly not sure. Let's see.
Yeah, Burkina, they're one of those little countries that do way better than you'd imagine. I'm pretty sure it was either last time or the time before they made the semi-final, which was against all odds, really. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they would have qualified for the tournament. So I think it's been expanded the last couple of times too. It used to be just 16 teams, but now it's 24, like the Euros as well, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been 24 for the last 2 cycles, 2019 and 2022.
Yeah. Are you a fan of that, Peter, or did you prefer the 16 tournament team tournaments?
I mean, it's funny. I think you put it best. I've grown to appreciate the 24-team tournaments because it does make the final group stage match day very interesting with all the permutations and things like that. And I see no problem of expanding. I mean, the World Cup has been running with 32 teams since 1982, maybe, the one in Spain. So it's the World Cup with 32 teams. It's fine. You can do a 32-team tournament. That's fine. But when we were talking about the 2026 World Cup, which will be expanded to 64 nations. You and I were having a meal there in Nuremberg, and you said, "What is it? Is it a tennis tournament now?"
Yeah. You might as well just make it a knockout, to be honest, and sack off the group stages. Yeah, it's really too many.
I like the way you put that. I really did. I mean, I was like, yeah, you're right. It's a tennis tournament. Why even bother tuning in for the group stages when it's like that? I mean, it's like it'll be like watching the Euro qualifiers or something like this. In the opening group stages, it's simply no fun.
Yeah. And often the problem as well with having an expanded tournament is you get teams that kind of get through the gap. Like I remember when Wales got through into the semi-final in 2016. I mean, that was a dark time for England football fans as well, because like they got to a semi-final when England hadn't been in one since '96.
In fairness, you have to beat Iceland. I mean, you have to.
Yeah, we've forgotten about that one. Who are Iceland? Yeah, but that was a dark day. But that, I mean, respect to Wales. But some people would say that's interesting, though. It makes it more interesting that teams can kind of sneak through, and we've seen it more. Although Leverkusen here, great defending there by Anton. He gives the ball away badly, though. Big chance. Boniface, how's he not scored that one? He was through on goal and he has the chance. He doesn't have that much time, but it's easily saved by Nubel in the end. That was a big chance. He couldn't get out there. It was actually Mio, I think, who gives the ball away there. And it's a big chance for Boniface. We've talked about his finishing not being the best in recent weeks, and that was, wow. That was probably the chance of the match, really. I would say that was the biggest chance, Peter, really.
Yeah. Well, we've had 2 good saves from Nubel and Hadretsky, respectively. In both instances, they were efforts that were from close range and on the ground. And the important thing, from my perspective at least, is that both of those keepers, they waited until the last moment to commit on their dive. And that's what's kept the ball out of the back of the net, kept the proverbial bag of onions from being grabbed. It's,
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
Oh, just Stuttgart again here. Stuttgart, big chance. Oh, how is this? How have Stuttgart not scored? This is just getting insane now. I just looked at the XG and they're on round about 1.5 after 25 minutes, and that's not even including that chance. They just had another one-on-one. Guirassy, wow. It's another massive save, and then they can't get out. Tar loses the ball. Furyk has a chance, and oh, geez. Guirassy, it's an amazing save again, though, to be fair, how he gets his leg out there. And then Furyk has a half chance as well at the near post. Jeez, their XG is probably going to be around about 2 now, I would say. And I just there's another chance here as the ball comes in. Oh, but it's a poor ball this time. And this time Leverkusen can break. This is where their best chances at the minute. Frimpong with pace. Oh, they get back so quick, though. Wow, the speed that they get back is just incredible. Oh, although he does well there for him to win a corner there and out of nothing, really. Wow. What a game this has proven to be. But why are we not getting goals? Stop being so good, goalkeepers, really, because we want goals. Like, there's no way this should be 0-0, really. Stuttgart, I can confirm for you, 1.98 after 25 minutes of the game against Leverkusen. They should be 2-0 up on XG. According to the XG, it should be 2-0. Although Leverkusen surprisingly only on 0.24, so I'm not sure what they gave Leverkusen for that great chance missed by Boniface before. But wow, this is just incredible, Peter. I mean, how have Stuttgart not scored in this game?
I don't know. I mean, it's that was a great save by Hradecki when he came out to meet Silas, and got a little bit lucky that he guessed right with his right leg there and going out. But yeah, God, I can't remember the last time there was an XG figure of 2.0 on a match that didn't feature a penalty prior to the hour mark. That's great.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable the way Stuttgart this attack. The crazy thing is, it's just the front two are just so good that nobody knows how to defend them. It's not like they have like crazy unique tactics or something to get through. It's often just like great play from the two centre forwards that create these chances, isn't it? And wow, like both of them are just so good, ridiculously good. Like, and again, they win the ball back. I mean, they keep winning the ball back, and it's another chance for Stuttgart. Although the poor ball comes in from Wagner, man. Yeah, poor mistake there. Should be getting the ball into the juggler there, really, and it's Wagner, man. Ends up kicking the ball out of play. But wow, Stuttgart, how good are they? That the attack is just ridiculous. And another thing that I've noticed today is how quick they get back when Leverkusen counter as well. That's been really impressive. I mean, Anton, no wonder why he's been linked with some bigger clubs as well, because he's been really impressive today. The way he gets back as well for a big man is superb. Yeah, and he's, one of the reasons why Leverkusen have not been able to get that many chances on the counter, Peter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they are punching above their weight in every last position, I think. I suppose you could say that the potential was always there with players like Furyk and of course, Hoeneß he's been working with Angelo Stiller since his days as the FC Bayern München 2, the Bayern reserve trainer, I suppose you would say. And so he's always been a pet project. Mio has also been a pet project for Hoeneß since he arrived in Stuttgart. He immediately began to thrive under Hoeneß when Hoeneß took over just prior to the Pokal fixture against Nuremberg, I think it was, last spring. So yes, I mean he's clearly found a way to get the best out of these players, and as you point out correctly, they're not. It's no crazy tactics. I mean, it's just a 4-4-2. It's a straightforward 4-4-2 with Undav working as kind of a service striker now beneath Guirassy, and there's a nice little pick off from Kosunu. Yeah, nothing has happened since you're 10 seconds ahead.
Yeah, they won a corner in the end, but it was good play. Grimaldo got in, but again, great defending this time from Wagner, man. To be honest, I'm starting to wonder what drugs these Stuttgart players are taking, because like it's the football they play is just ridiculous, really. As you say, from a team that had barely stayed up the last 2 years. Oh, a header came in there. It looked promising at first, but it's way over from, I think it was Adli actually who gets up for that. And he falls uncomfortably as well, but really, just the energy in the Stuttgart team is just ridiculous. They just never stop running, and it's the same kind of performance every week. Just they create so many chances, and it's just wow. They've truly fallen upon like just an amazing system for this group of players, and you got to give a lot of credit to Hoeneß as well for what he's done.
If you're gonna contrast Hoeneß with the previous Stuttgart coaching regime, namely that of Bruno Labbadia, Labbadia it was a combination of bad luck. I mean, Guirassy was always hurt. Oh, good Lord. Poor Anton has got himself.
Which is brutal on that.
Yeah. I was going to bring up Waldemar Anton. Was hoping to say something other than the fact that he's gotten a huge gash on his head from what looks to be a mid-air collision with. Who is that?
It was Adley, I think. How did he get up so well there? I didn't know he was so tall, Adley, but he got up really well there to meet that corner amongst a bunch of 6'4" giants, and was unlucky not to get ahead of it. Yeah, I think Anton, I'm pretty sure he will continue in the game. He's a hard guy, and they need him in that defense too, because his pace getting back is really, really impressive at times.
Indeed. So Anton was, we mentioned 5,000 times on the pod. Why is Anton playing right back? And actually, he has played right back very well under Hoeneß several occasions this season. So Hoeneß at least knew how to get him properly drilled for that position. But Anton was one of those players when he first joined Stuttgart in the promotion season. I think it was from Hanover. One always knew that the potential was there. Matarazzo didn't really bring out the best in him. Neither did Labbadia. Labbadia, of course, also had a lot of bad luck in that Guirassy was always hurt under his watch. He had so many injury struggles last year, so many injury problems Stuttgart had in general. I mean, were you expecting Labbadia to succeed with like Thomas Castellanos as the lead striker? That wasn't going to work.
Koulibaly, do you remember him as well?
Oh yeah, Tanguy Koulibaly as well. Well, I kind of. Yeah. Oh, and of course,
okay, but he's not Guirassy or Undab. Let's be honest.
Once upon a time, I thought he was. I did. I thought he possessed the same toolkit as Silas, who Lawrence mentioned there in the comments there. Silas was. Well, that's another thing that when he first came on the scene in 2019-20 season. Well, of course, back then he was known as Silas Wamangituka. One of your podcast guests, or New York podcast guests, who used to work at Bully News with me, Adam Khan, wrote a wonderful piece on Silas Wamangituka, talking about him being Africa's next great talent. He wrote that in the fall of 2019, and Silas really performed well that year. It was quite the prescient piece. And then, of course, came that ACL tear at the end of was it the subsequent season? Was it? No. It was. No, it was 20.
It was that season. I think it was the back end of that season, or in like the March or something of that year, just when he was at the top of his form.
Right. Okay, so it was 2021 that Adam wrote the piece, and that Stuttgart, that was their promotion year, and that's the year they also signed Anton and all that good stuff. And then came all that stuff with his name, which he had to go through all these legal problems in Germany. Because he was representing, his agent had him change his name and everything. This actually does happen a lot with African footballers, unfortunately. So there was the stress of that. There was all of his legal battles. There was the slow comeback from injury and things like that. He never really found his form. And, you and I and Rory were talking on the pod of like, Silas, can he ever really be considered a top tier player again? At long last, he seems to be finally finding his stride again. So the stars are kind of aligning for Hoeneß in certain respects, but he deserves a lot of credit for bringing out the best. And Führer was another guy who was constantly hurt under Matarazzo and Labbadia's watch. But I mean, when you look at what Hoeneß has done, you credit him for bringing out the best in Stiller, in Milo, in newcomers like Undav, in Anton, in Zagadou, even Mittelstadt to a certain extent now. You give him credit for that. But there's also a lot of players who just could not stay fit under the previous regime. So he's had some luck as well. That's part of it.
But I still think, the signing of Stiller is another one that doesn't get the credit it deserves, because he's just a workhorse, in that midfield. He just tries to win the ball back so many times, and I think also Furyk, he was being played in bad positions as well under Pellegrino. I think he was playing him as a striker sometimes, like a number 9, and that didn't really work. His finishing isn't good enough for that. But it clearly the kind of 2 behind the striker is his best position, really, or wide. Obviously nowadays he plays more wide since Undav started to come into the team as well. But earlier in the season they were only playing 1 striker with Guirassy and then Mio and Furyk behind him. But obviously nowadays Undav. And I think they've gone to the next level even since they started playing Undav more often as well. So, I mean, this has been a superb performance from them, but they've just not got the goal. But to be honest, unless Leverkusen can sort something out tactically, I think it will come eventually because, they probably had 4 or 5 really good chances in the match. And normally at least one of them ends up in the old onion bag. But unfortunately for our scoreline, it hasn't yet. And it is still 0-0 after about 35 minutes of play. But yeah, thinking about Leverkusen, Peter, I mean, what can the away side do here to kind of stem the tide? Because then, apart from a few counters, which aren't really amounting to that much, they're not really getting that much play, are they, at the minute? And Stuttgart has looked by far the better team.
Yeah, well, luckily they have one of the best tactical trainers in German football at the moment who can make some tweaks. It's, usually Alonso, he takes kind of a hands-off approach in the league and manages his sides more tactically closely in the cup and European fixtures, as we see. Was that Furyk who shot well over?
Yeah, good effort.
No, it was that was Mittelstädt.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
not a bad one. Yeah. Well, I mean, what can you do? You can. What he did last week against Dortmund in bringing on Patrick Schick was a brilliant tactical switch that enabled them to get the draw, a draw that they absolutely should have had. Seems just a little bit too early to go to Schick now because, that would radically alter the constellation. You're going to a 2-striker set. And what good is a 2-striker set when your build-up play is just not functioning right now? Let's see. I would personally tuck Xhaka underneath Palacios, maybe even put him ahead of the back 3 as a sweeper so that he can pick off some more balls and initiate some more counters. That might be a decent thing. And maybe switch Wirtz and Adli, have them switch flanks because they are not winning their one-on-one battles against Furyk and Milo, who are definitely stationary on their flanks. They're not rotating at all. They're not going anywhere. So that's an idea. But it's early yet. Probably not going to see anything from Xabi tactically unless Stuttgart do get that opening goal, which as much as they've deserved it, they haven't gotten it yet. We have that problem.
Yeah, that's the big advantage, obviously, for Leverkusen. They'll probably think, like, the VfB should be at least 1 in front, and they're not, obviously. So that is a big benefit for them. And a lot of that is due to Hradecky as well. And although they've just won a free kick again here, Stuttgart. Adli, despite his good play on the ball, he's getting caught a little bit, and he doesn't give enough protection to the fullback, I think. You mentioned that, Peter, as well before the kickoff. He's struggled defensively a little bit, and he's put in a few poor tackles, which have led to free kicks. But this one was just played short. But again, it's Anton now wearing a big bandage on his head after that cut sustained by Adli as well. Is now marauding into the Leverkusen half as the ball goes back to Zagadou, and this time it's a poor ball and it ends up comfortably in the hands of Hradecky. But yeah. I don't know what it is with our watch-alongs. We just don't. The ball's just like we've seen so many huge, high-scoring games, and this game has been so entertaining to watch. But it just seems like keepers and defenses always end up on top when we do watch-alongs, Peter. But yeah, do you think there will be goals? Is it one of them which is going to be like, I think you call them a can opener or something? Yeah, like when one goal goes in, there'll be a lot of goals.
The German phrase is Dosenöffner. And they also sometimes refer to it as like the ketchup bottle. Once you get that first drop out of it.
Oh, it's a goal! Stuttgart scored, and it's amazing play from Wagner, man, and it's Furyk with the goal. Wow. unbelievable football again there. Who was it that played the initial ball? It was a beautiful triangle, and then Wagnerman gets in behind, squares the ball right across the face of the goal. It's a tap in to an empty net, which is going to be good for the XG as well. They'll probably get another 0.85 onto the XG after that, to be honest, for you XG nerds out there like us. But yeah, it was a superb piece of football. Wow. It was Wagnerman who pretty much, brilliant play from him. He just bullies past Grimaldo, who looked weak defensively there, actually, and it's a really good goal. It's Undav, I think, who gets the initial ball in, and great play from the returning Wagnerman. It's an easy finish. Yeah, it was Undav who got the pre-assist there, and it's a great piece of football from the VfB, but probably not the best defending from Grimaldo, who was caught being a little bit weak and also out of position there. But VfB Stuttgart have their deserved lead, Peter. I mean, what a first-half performance from them.
Yeah, that's a rather poor mark from Jonathan Tah, and Kosunu also failed to pick up Führig. Somebody needed to pick up Führig. I think we had a lot of ball watching on there, both from Tah, Kosunu, and Tapsoba. They were watching that pretty play unfold, as is sometimes the case, and we all know that on the football pitch. We just get a little bit distracted by what is some clean passing play from our opponents, and we neglect to pick up our marks. It happens to every last footballer. Yeah, there was a 97% goal probability from that.
Yeah. And you'll never believe the XG now. Are you ready, guys? Through 40 minutes, 3.26 for Stuttgart, and no penalties involved as well. I mean, that proves the dominance. It's just been a ridiculous performance. And wow, what can you say? I mean, a lot of people are talking about Leverkusen being one of the best teams in Europe at the moment, let alone the best team in the Bundesliga. And they've just basically, it's been like a stroll in the park. You know, the only thing they'll be disappointed about is the fact that it's only 1-0, you know, because it should be at least 2, and even 3-0 wouldn't flatter according to the XG, Peter.
Well, now we probably see a tactical tweak from Xabi at the half. I don't think he can afford to wait much longer. It might be the case that to bring on Schick at the half might smack too much of desperation. I think Xabi would like to keep a cool head about it. Of course, if Stuttgart score again here, he doesn't have a choice. But he's going to need 2 strikers up there, and he's going to need to sort out his wingback situation. Might be the case that Stanisic should even come in for Frimpong, because how many times have we called Jeremy Frimpong's name in this one? Have we called it once? How many touches of the ball has he gotten? You can perhaps look.
And to be honest, he wasn't great last week as well against Dortmund. In truth, he's been a little bit wasteful in recent weeks, which is not typical of him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, this has been a pretty harrowing experience in truth for the Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, they've not lost this season. They've literally not lost the whole season. I think, 21 games now overall in all comps. Well, it's 40. Well, it's 13 before today in the league, 5 in the Europa League, and I think 3 in the so it will have been 21 before this in the Cup, 3. Yeah, so they're unbeaten in 21. They've won all but 2 of those games as well. So I mean, the form is just incredible. But this has been an absolute. Obviously, they dropped points last week against Dortmund, but they should have won that game, and there was nothing wrong with the performance. But today they've just been outrun, out tactic, and playing against a team that look a better side at the minute, Peter.
Absolutely. I think outrun would be the way that I would outrun, outgunned, outran. Yeah. You can help me out with the tense there, perhaps.
Yeah. The English we normally say outrun, but I guess it should be outran, really. Although the corner comes in from Leverkusen there, and it's easily cleared though, but it goes short. Actually, I think it's ended up in Granit Xhaka, who puts a good ball in, but again, Zagadou. It's a poor header out. Terrible control there though by. Who was it that controlled that? Grimaldo, who's not had his best game either today. That was awful control in a good position there, and it ends up going out for a goal kick. But yeah, Peter, you were saying, you think that Leverkusen have been outrun or outran today?
Well, I mean, Grimaldo and Frimpong, I think there's your problem right there. These wingbacks are not having their best day. They're constantly getting bypassed, and it was probably only a matter of time before this back 3 buckled and succumbed to some ball watching, because the wingbacks are allowing far too much through, and the midfield is with Palacios and Xhaka working on straight man-to-man battles against Stiller and Karazor. That's also not working. So probably a fresh wingback and a reordering of his double six set at the half is what I would like to see from Xabi right now, because he's got to do something. They are getting dominated in those positional areas. And as we see, that was a
it's another corner, actually. Grimaldo better defending. Undav, since he's gone out wide, has been superb. Like, he's probably been my player of the match today, actually. Undav he's outshone guirassy definitely in this game. And I think, again, there's going to be a corner coming in just as the 45 minutes is about to come up as well. I mean, they'll be upset they're not 2-0 up, really, just as the corner comes in short. But it's well worked again. It's gone wide to Mittelstädt. He puts the ball in, not a very good header this time, although it is saved right underneath his goal, the Undav header. 4 minutes of added on time. But for me, I mean, Leverkusen have just got to get in at 1-0, to be honest. And then, as you say, they've got to do something to change it, because as things stand, I mean, the XG is just ridiculous. I would imagine with those half chances, it's going to be up. Yeah, it's 3.32, which is just absurd after the first half of football, really, again, without a penalty, as you say.
Wow. Well, this is welcome to the Bundesliga beat. That's why we love it, of course. We had Bayern get demolished. Moritz says Stuttgart are ahead of Bayern in the Bundesliga. They are. But you keep in mind, Bayern still have a game at hand. Oh, God. I mean, the effects of that, the snow cancellation, we don't want to get too much into this weekend's matches, of course, because Rory and Mark will be covering that tomorrow. But the effects of the cancellation of that Bayern Union game, that had a real effect on the league. I mean, had that game actually taken place, Bayern probably would have demolished Union. You would not have seen Union approach their home fixture with Gladbach with much confidence. Bayern would have still been in the rhythm. You know, they wouldn't have had that rust and the rest problems that they had yesterday against Frankfurt. So it all came down to some heavy snowfall in Bavaria. Heaviest snowfall. Did you? What did the paper say about it? I read somewhere that this was like the heaviest snowfall recorded in 40 years.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. We got some in Nuremberg as well, but not to the same level as in Oberbayern. Yeah, I heard that. Well, you obviously saw the Augsburg game. I'm a little bit surprised that one went ahead. That's obviously not, I think we're 70, 80 kilometers from Munich. We're about 120 or so here in Nuremberg away. But we also got some snow and it was really cool. But yeah, I saw the pictures from Munich and it was insane. It really was. There was like over a meter, even in the city, of snow. But it definitely worked out well for Union, as you say. I mean, they got to spend 2 weeks on the training ground and it clearly worked, judging by yesterday. Although another chance for Stuttgart. Furyk miscontrols it in a great position there, though. Should have got a shot off then, just as the second minute of extra time, of added on time, is being played. But yeah, I mean, I totally think that could even be the point when we're looking at like Union's season and thinking they got away with one there, because, you know, they probably have got hammered, let's be honest, if they'd have played that. And the confidence would have been even lower if that was possible at that stage. But as it happened, they got to spend a day in the snow, have a bit of fun with each other, and then get back on the the training pitch, and it obviously worked, judging by yesterday's performance. Whereas Bayern, as you say, a team like them, they want regular games because the players get a bit like restless if they're not playing. And just a Stuttgart with another chance here. But it's well blocked. Jeez, that was a chance, just a little bit too slow there as the half comes to a close. They can't get out though, Leverkusen. Really, this has been total demolition. It really has. The only surprise is that it's only 1-0. That is the truth here. But yeah, definitely. I think the whole Bundesrepublik was happy to see Union get back on the winning road yesterday. Nobody wants to see them go down. And it was fantastic to see them not only win, but play so well too, which we will talk about more tomorrow. But as for Bayern, I mean, yeah, they do have those kind of days sometimes, though, don't they? That is something that Bayern, when they're bad, they can be really quite poor at times, especially defensively. And that was one of those days yesterday. As again, Stuttgart come forward here. The shot comes off, but that should be the last play. It's quite a poor effort from Furyk in the end. But again, it's going to keep going. That XG is probably going to be around about 3.5 at halftime, which is just not normal, really. I'm not sure. I can't remember many games at any level where it was 3.5 at halftime, let alone against the best team in Germany.
Without a penalty. So
yeah.
That's what
it is halftime, by the way. The halftime whistle is gone. The Stuttgart players, wow, that all the joy they've given us this season, but that has to be their best first half of the season, Peter.
Yeah, where the hell's Rory? Perhaps
Yeah,
he should be enjoying this.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
It is, and the XG 3.35 to 0.61. Wow, and that is just almost 2.7 goals difference between the teams. So that suggests they should have between a 2 and a 3 goal lead really if the XG stats had come to fruition. But obviously that included a one-on-one miss from guirassy, and we don't see many of them, do we? Normally when he goes one-on-one, it's an easy finish, and we saw that crazy clearance off the line as well early on in the game. And we've seen a few other good saves from Hadadsky and good defending too. But sorry, I shouldn't have I forgot to correct the score as well, guys, on the meter. Let me just correct that one for you as well. But Peter, I mean, just before we go on to some predictions for the midweek games, well, what have you made of that overall?
That was one of the best first halves of the season we've seen from any of the top flight clubs, as you put it there. Yeah, that's what Rory should really be here enjoying this. I was really I've been expecting him to check in the comment section the entire time, going thoughts of VfB, because that was what a profound statement that was from the Swabians. I mean, they basically fearlessly and unflinchingly took on the best team in German football, undefeated through 21 matches, and practically made mincemeat out of them. That was, yeah. Well, Sebastian Hoeneß is Uli Hoeneß's nephew. There's Rory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're enjoying it, Rory.
There we go. Yeah.
I hope you're warm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We are massive, he says. Yeah. Maybe Aston Villa win the Premier League and VfB Stuttgart win the Bundesliga. Who knows the way things are going at the minute? Yeah. Obviously, it's been a season of shocks at the minute, hasn't it? It really has. Yeah. But it's.
I'll go ahead and run a phrase, since I don't know. I mean, do English use the phrase "make mincemeat out of"? Is that?
Yeah, we do. We say that. Yeah, we make mincemeat. Yeah, no, we do. We say that. Yeah, and that's the exact expression I would have used to describe the way VfB have basically ripped apart the away side here for sure.
Let's say that Stuttgart, because actually I know you do now. I know why you do now, because mincemeat is like the ingredient in those pies we were talking about.
Yeah, it probably comes from the UK. I think it sounds like a classic British expression. Yeah.
Okay. We'll say that nephew Hoeneß, Sebastian Hoeneß, just like Uncle Uli, knows how to grind an opposing team into bratwurst, because Uli Hoeneß owns several bratwurst factories.
Yeah. In Nuremberg as well, actually. He makes the Nuremberger bratwurst.
He's a meat magnet. So yes, that was they ground them into bratwurst one there. That was wow. Yeah. Not expecting that at all.
It was extremely impressive from the home side, and looking forward to the second half because it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, Leverkusen now, I think they'll be happy to get out of Stuttgart with a point and that unbeaten record intact, to be honest, because, I mean, to see them winning the game looks unlikely at the minute, in truth, unless they can find a way to kind of subdue that Stuttgart attack. And you've got to imagine at least one more goal for Stuttgart, maybe even another couple. But yeah, we are going to change the tune a little bit here, and we're going to go over to obviously the upcoming Champions League games in midweek and do a few predictions for them, because there are a few big ones, some not so big as well in there. But yeah, let's start with probably the big one, really, Peter. I mean, it's Manchester United against Bayern Munich. I mean, the permutations of that game are basically if United have to win and there has to be no winner in Copenhagen and Galatasaray. As for Bayern Munich, they've only got pride on the line, but they really need to restore pride after that thrashing in Frankfurt. When I saw this result, I actually thought it's the worst thing that could happen to Man United, to be honest, because this has gone from being a dead rubber to Bayern Munich to a game that really their fans will be expecting them to win. Because, I mean, you can't lose back-to-back games if you're Bayern Munich. It's as simple as that, especially with this Stuttgart side next to come as well. Don't forget that they play Stuttgart next week too. So, Peter, I'll throw this one over to you. What do you fancy in that game?
Thomas Müller has promised a reaction. He always promises a reaction every time Bayern lose like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Bayern win it big. They win 3-0. And we, in the post-match interview coverage over at Bully News, will write, "We were after a reaction for the 1,000th time." That's just it's one of those footballing cliches that you can't escape. So that's my.
But to be fair, it works most of the time for Bayern. I always say the hardest time to play Bayern is after they've lost the game, because that's one of the true success stories of Bayern Munich. The way they bounce back is ridiculous. Like, have you ever known them to go 3 games without a win? I'm not sure. In all the time in the last 10 years, I'm not sure it's ever happened. Really, maybe someone in the comments can let me know a time when Bayern went 3 games without a win. But I think even 2 games without a win is extremely rare. But I mean, 3 games without a win, it just simply doesn't happen. It's as simple as that, and that's why they win league titles so often, because the bounce back ability. I think it was Neil Warnock who coined that phrase. Yeah, but the bounce back ability of Bayern Munich. And okay, it's cliched. It's always Thomas Muller comes out on social media saying, "Oh, we weren't good enough. We need to bounce back." But they always do bounce back. That's the problem. So it clearly works, whatever they do. But I agree with you, Peter. I wouldn't go quite 3-0, but I go for a 3-1 win for Bayern. I just think United are poor. They obviously lost 3-0 at home to Bournemouth yesterday as well, which I'm sure Rory has probably canned his Man United support and just gone all in on VfB Stuttgart now, to be honest with you. Well, he will have done if he has any sense anyway. But yeah, definitely they look poor, and I think Bayern will get the win just for pride, but still it's important, obviously, because Bayern want to win the Champions League this year. There's no question about that. So I'll agree with you. I'll go for an away win in that one. Then the other one on Tuesday is, wow, this is going to be an amazing match. Union Berlin, Real Madrid. Wow. I mean, what can you say about that? Obviously, Union are out of the Champions League, but they're not yet out of the Europa League. If they win and Braga lose in Napoli, which is likely, let's be honest, then basically Union will continue into the Europa League in February, which would be an amazing achievement in their first season in the Champions League. But they've just got to go out there and enjoy this one. I mean, they're playing Real Madrid. It's probably the biggest club on earth in football. There's probably no more famous team. They've got to go out and enjoy this one for me. Peter, what are your tips for that one?
I think that they're not. I'm not quite sure Union wants to continue on in the Europa League. You have to question club and squad motivation sometimes when it comes to the Europa League. Do teams really want to qualify for it? Do they really want that crazy travel schedule? Do they want all of that extra stuff, or do they want to focus on rebuilding themselves? I mean, come on, it's Real Madrid. It's Jude Bellingham. I don't think they're going anywhere here. So I'll go ahead for a 3-1 win for Real, and that should eliminate Union from European competition. Some encouraging things this weekend, but it's far too late for them to stand tall against a footballing giant like that.
I mean, if they could pull off a win here, then forget the 15 games without a win before. I mean, this would be like history, wouldn't it? Even if Braga do get a result, I mean, to beat Real Madrid, even though it's a dead rubber for Real Madrid, I mean, it'd still be an absolutely unbelievable victory. And do you know what? I'm actually going to go for them to get it as well. I just think Real, I think they've already won the group as well. So they've literally only got pride to play for. And I think in their case, they've probably got other things to worry about. They don't have a winter break, I don't think, in Spain. So they're going to have a busy schedule over the Christmas. So I can see them resting a few players, potentially even Jude Bellingham as well. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Union win. I just think they're going to do it. I don't know why, but often, when a team gets a win after 3.5 months, like they did yesterday, I've just got a feeling that they're going to pull out a second one in the space of a few days, and that would be amazing. I agree with you, Peter. In a way, the best thing for Union would actually be Braga to beat Napoli, because I really don't think it would be good for Union to continue, because they've got to focus on survival this season, really, and then hopefully, if all is stable by the end of the season, then they can start to mount a Europa League push again next year, maybe. But the priority has got to be survival after such a poor 3 months through, September, October, and November, where they didn't get a single win in any competition in that period. But yeah, let's go on to the next game, which is probably not the most exciting one. We can probably just kind of quickly go over this one. RB Leipzig against Young Boys Bern. Yeah, I think Leipzig will probably get a win, even though, again, it's a dead rubber, this one. They're going to finish second in the group. I think they'll get a 3-1 home win. What do you think, Peter?
Sure, why not? No German is going to watch that game, I can tell you that much.
I don't think anyone anywhere is going to watch it. Probably not even the fans of these clubs, in truth, because it is just a dead rubber. Like, everything's already decided in that game. basically. Yeah. Okay, and then probably the game of the weekend, really. Well, unless you're a Bayern Munich fan, it's going to be Dortmund PSG, and there is something lying on this one. First of all, PSG need a win to qualify, and if they do win, they would go above Dortmund on results against each other, head-to-head record. So Dortmund, if they want to win the group, they have to get a draw in this game. And I mean, Dortmund, what can you say? I mean, in Germany, they've been honestly quite poor in truth, but in the Champions League, they've been brilliant. So, I mean, what can you say? I think realistically, Terzic knows that if he wants to be in charge of Dortmund next season, they probably have to get to the quarter or semi-final of the Champions League, I would say, because unless they can turn something around in the league, I think they might decide to get rid of him at the end of the season if things don't improve. But if they get to the semi-final of the Champions League, I think that'll guarantee him another year in the job. So, I mean, the Champions League is where it's at, really, for Dortmund at the minute. And I'm going to go for them to get a win. You know, I just think despite the poor league form, I just think the PSG, it's not the team it was a couple of years ago. You know, obviously they've still got Mbappe, but I saw them play a couple of Champions League games and the team isn't like quite so star-studded as it was for the last 5-6 years or so. I'm going to go for them to get a 2-1 win. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, I like that prediction. I think that, I mean, we don't want to get too much into yesterday's match against Leipzig because obviously you and Rory are going to talk about that tomorrow. But I trust that you guys will be talking about the fight back spirit that Dortmund displayed in the match. And to my mind, they're still not a poor team. You know, it's we've got issues with the fullback position, so on and so forth, and that got a little bit crazy with Marius Wolf and Julian Ryerson being ruled out due to injuries that were picked up midweek. Not surprising that starting Thomas Meunier at right back didn't work out. But, you know, I like their form in the Champions League. I think they have confidence to make it happen. I think a 2-1 win is absolutely possible. With goals from one of their talented players, maybe like Brandt. And maybe one for Brandt, one for Füllkrug.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would be a huge win as well, and it could potentially guarantee them a favourable draw in the last 16 as well against one of the teams that finished second in their group. So yeah, while we've still got another 5 minutes or so till half time, and till the game kicks off, let's just have a little look at a few of the other fixtures as well that are important. So obviously Aberdeen against Frankfurt. Wow, that is a proper old school match, that, isn't it? Aberdeen, wow. I mean, I was there once before, and that is one hell of a place, Aberdeen. Yeah, it will be cold there. Let's just say Frankfurt fans need to take a lot of coats for that match. Let's say that much. But for Frankfurt, obviously, coming on the back of that amazing performance, I can see them getting a win over there. It will be a great atmosphere, by the way. The Scottish love the football, and they'll definitely turn out. I'm pretty sure it'll be a full house for that game as well. I think they'll get a 3-2 win there, Peter.
I think that Frankfurt returned to their poor form a little bit, and we get a 1-1 draw would be my prediction. That's my tip.
Okay. And then probably the most interesting one in the Europa League is actually West Ham Freiburg. That's a proper old school match as well. I like that fixture. And it is important too because both teams are already through, I believe. But if Frankfurt win, they will finish top of the group as well. So they need to go and win there. And actually in the Europa League, it's really important because it means you skip around as well. If you top the group, you go straight to the last 16. If you finish second, you have to play like a prelim round against one of the teams that falls out of the Champions League. So, you know, that would be tough for Freiburg. And who's going to win? I've got a feeling there will be a winner in this game because a draw is useless for Freiburg. So if it's 1-1 going into the last 10 minutes, they've got to commit all men forward because a draw is useless. But, I mean, they've been good in recent weeks. The performance-wise haven't been great, I don't think, but that fighting spirit is back with Christian Streichel's men. And, you know, they're not conceding goals. Atabulu he's actually starting to become a decent keeper now after a difficult start, replacing Mark Flecken in that Freiburg net. I'm going to go for them to get a 2-1 win. You know, I think it's been such a good year for Bundesliga teams in Europe, probably with the exception of Union Berlin. And I actually think they're going to get a 2-1 win and top the group. What do you think, Peter?
I think that's accurate. Yeah, I think that they're going to pop the West Ham bubble, as the saying goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I love going to watch West Ham whenever I'm in London at the Olympic Stadium and blow bubbles and things like that. It's fun. It's a lot of But I think they'll do just like Frankfurt did a couple of years ago there at the Olympic, and I think they get the 2-1 win. Been really, really impressed with Freiburg's form as of late. Michael Gregoric has been on a tear scoring wise. A little bit lucky to score yesterday. Yeah, I like that tip. It's going to be a good day for German football.
Yeah, and their form in Europe over the last 2 years has been really impressive because they're not regulars at European level, and they got through top in the group last year, and they're already through with a game to spare here with the chance of going through as top of the group as well. I mean, they've been representing Germany really well in the Europa League as well. I think they went down to a narrow defeat against Juventus, I seem to remember, last year. I mean, what a tie that was for the fans. I think they only lost by a single goal over the 2 legs, I seem to remember. So, they really done themselves proud, and this is going to be a game they can enjoy as well. Go to the Olympic Stadium, against a famous club, a traditional club like West Ham, and they can go out and enjoy that game. Yeah. But yeah, back to our game at hand then. So obviously, by the way, just an update as well on the XG. It has been kind of reevaluated, and it's been given as 2.96 after the first half. In the end, they've knocked off about 0.4 of Stuttgart's XG, probably maybe to an offside or something like that for one of the chances, which sometimes does happen, but still a very, very impressive XG. Peter, if we look at the bench as well, I'll just get the benches on as well there on your screen. I mean, is there anyone on either bench that you think could be utilized at halftime or in the early stages of the half?
Yeah, I don't believe there have been any substitutions, which is somewhat disappointing. We were talking about what Xabi can do, potentially replacing Frimpong with Stanisic, considering how quiet Frimpong was. At the very least, I would say this 3-4-3 needs to turn into a 4-2-3-1, so that Palacios and Xhaka have a better chance of standing toe-to-toe with Carrazzo and Stiller. That, of course, would leave Frimpong out on the wing and maybe Wirtz as the 10. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do that, then you want to introduce Jonas Hoffmann sooner rather than later, I would say, for Frimpong on the right wing, because Führich is having too easy a time down that right hand side. I mean, well, both Leverkusen wingbacks have been disappointing, Grimaldo and and Frimpong. I wonder. Yeah, of course, if you do a 4-2-3-1, then who's your right back? Bikosunu has also had something of a poor match at this juncture. Well, this is going to be interesting. This will be interesting. I mean, they're going to stick with these. Both coaches are going to stick with their initial 11s for now, but it shouldn't be too long until the chess match begins to unfold, so to speak. So for a tactics head, this is going to be a fun game. Kind of a shame that I don't think Stuttgart are attacking the Cannstatter Kurve area this half. May be something of an influencing factor, I would say. We'll see about that.
By the way, another interesting stat from the first half, 11 shots on target as well from the VfB. 11 shots on target in one half. It's crazy. Just as Florian Wirtz already is in action. Wow, really good play from him. He gets through. He's gone through the whole team. Jeez. He's gone wide. Oh, but it's miscontrolled. Is it Frimpong again, who's had a disappointing day? Great play from Florian Wirtz, who was pretty much a passenger in the first half, in truth. Yeah. And poor play again, though. He got the ball out to Frimpong, and he's not enjoying his best spell of form at the minute. He went past about 4 players there. He went past Carrazzo, Stiller, Führich, I think also Anton, Zagadou as well at the end. He got the ball in really well into Frimpong, but he miscontrolled. Wasn't the easiest take on, but it was, probably should be doing better there, Peter. As we just get a close-up on Jürgen Löw as well. In the
oh, my goodness. What the hell is he doing in the garden?
Yeah.
Somebody said
he's forgotten about him, Peter.
Bad luck. Get him the hell out of there.
Damn, he's a VfB man, though, isn't he? I think he used to play for the VfB, too.
He freaking, okay. I got a good feeling about this one. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is a nice little, okay. My God.
Oh, big chance, Leverkusen 1-0. Can you believe it? It's 1-0. Amazing ball across, and it's Florian Wirtz who scores. It's Boniface's goal, though, really. Fantastic ball over the face. And just 2 minutes into the second half, and it's 1-1. Incredible. Really well worked goal, actually. In fact, it's not too dissimilar to the VfB opener, to be honest.
That was
similar kind of goal, but it's Boniface who plays the role of Wagner, and it's actually very, very similar to the goal. Yeah, he is onside. It's well finished. A little bit more difficult finish there because the goalkeeper was still in play, but it's great assist from Boniface and a great finish from Florian Wirtz. And how weird's that, Peter? How similar were those goals, really?
That was incredible. If you think about how that play developed, it was a short corner that was specifically designed for Leverkusen to maintain possession. They took a short corner, they fed it back to the back three, which were sitting deep. Kosunu, Tapsoba, and Ta were all sitting deep, and they bow-arced it around until they could draw Stuttgart out of the box and throw the front three back in there. Oh my God, that was sublime. That is why Xabi Alonso is the best trainer in German football.
Yeah.
That was
and it's only taken him 2 minutes there to find an answer to that annihilation in the first half. Wow. I mean, I don't have the sound on my TV, but I mean, that's going to be a silencer for the Cannstatter Kurve. They're going to be gutted, I would imagine, because after completely giving them the run around the first half, they now find themselves 1-1. And it is a very good goal. It's a typical Leverkusen goal in many ways. Great football. And Boniface, who probably was their best player in the first half, actually, he did well on the few chances he had to hold the ball up. And actually, Leverkusen through again here. Is it Palacios who strikes? Oh, it's off the post. Unbelievable. Wow. What a strike. No, it was Xhaka, actually. Granit Xhaka hits a strike. They win the ball deep again through Tar, who hits an amazing shot. It rolls right across the face of the goal. And how has that not gone in? Wow. That's so unlucky for Granit Xhaka. It actually span all the way across and actually ended up going out for a goal kick. That's just incredible. Wow. But what a start. Xabi Alonso looks really, really kind of fired up again now. And that's ridiculous, Peter, really.
This is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I cannot say this for sure that corner was specifically designed to first go back and then go forward, but I think it was. And he does have Xhaka working on top of Palacios now, quite clearly, as he's reordered the midfield. So he's made the right tactical adjustments there. This is brilliant. Okay, wow. Yeah. I mean, Stuttgart unquestionably the superior side. But Xabi's tactically, both in open play and on that dead ball situation, he's bringing his side back into this single-handedly. Wow.
Yeah.
God, I can't. Wait, I'm running out of ways to praise this man. I can't find the words anymore.
Yeah, it is. It's been unbelievable. Just as actually, I think the VfB were turned down a free kick. Although VfB win the ball, it's Frimpong again. He's been the weakness today. Very poor from him. I don't know what's wrong with him at the minute. I think he maybe needs a game sitting on the bench, perhaps. But I think he's been really poor today, actually. He lost the ball, and now the VfB once again camped into the Leverkusen half. They didn't make anything of it initially, but they are building again here. Oh, well defended, though, by Adli in this case. But, yeah, have you been shocked by the performance of Frimpong? Because I think we gave him a bit of stick last week as well, that he wasn't that good in last week's game.
Yeah, I would either bring on Stanisic or Hoffmann at this point to take his place, because he's one of the few Leverkusen players that doesn't seem to have woken up his legs for the second half. So, I mean, you could bring in Stanisic on a straight like for like, or you could you could introduce Hoffmann and then maybe reformat to a 4-2-3-1, Wirtz at 10, and okay, yeah, that's possible. All right, yeah. Sorry, I'm slightly enraptured here.
Yeah, I think we all are. I mean, this has been the game has been so high quality, really. I mean, this has been a superb game of football, and we're starting to get the goals now as well. And, you know, I mean, this has been a ridiculous reaction this second half from Leverkusen. And they look well in control. They're starting to win the ball. Just basically everything that Stuttgart were doing in the first half. Now it seems what Leverkusen, and they break again here. They've got a 4-against-3. They're breaking again through, but it's Frimpong again on the ball here. Can he finally deliver? No, he can't again. He puts the ball straight into Wagner, man, and it's going to be a corner for Leverkusen. But yeah, that was a 4-against-3 break there. But they're starting to win the ball in the right positions, you know, through Xhaka, and they're really breaking fast now. And I think one of the problems for VfB, they might put so much into that first half that they can't run as fast this half. That could be a problem. It's looking very good at the minute for Leverkusen. As the shot kind of comes in, it's worked quite well. It's Palacios. Boniface got to it first, but it was an easy save. But it's another shot on target for Leverkusen as the chances start to mount now, Peter.
Yes. And that was another quality chance there from Tapsoba. I mean, or was it Boniface who headed it? Okay, it was Boniface. But okay, you got to bring on Hoffmann now. You have to bring on Hoffmann in place of Frimpong in a 4-2-3-1, or bring on Stanisic for Kosunu and reformat to a 4-2-3-1 with Stanisic at the right back position. I guess Xabi's going to let it roll for a little while longer here because he wants to see if Hoeneß is going to make any changes, which to my eye, he hasn't. I mean, it looks like Stuttgart in the same 4-4-2 shape. So, yeah, he's going to wait and see, I suppose. There's Wirtz with another fine individual dribble. Can't really get the breakaway going. Ooh, nice little triangulation there with Boniface, but Carrazzo breaks it up. Another great match from him, really.
Yeah. There's a lot of one thing I've noticed in the second half. There's a lot of I'm going to go as far as saying they look leggy already. The VfB. I mean, obviously they played midweek too against a much harder opponent than what Leverkusen had, who were able to make subs. I think after about an hour of their game against Paderborn. I'm not going to say they're tired already, but they definitely don't look to have the spring in the step. There's been a few misplaced passes from VfB, but things looking very good. I mean, what a turnaround it's been, really. I mean, to be honest, I would say the first half has been like a mirror. Sorry, the second half has been a mirror, but this time, obviously, Leverkusen the dominant side. I mean, they're playing it around Stuttgart completely, and they could easily be 2-1 up, in truth, if that Xhaka one had just, a couple of centimetres, and it would have gone in off the post. It was very unlucky, that one. But, probably with the exception of Frimpong, the whole team are looking at it now, Peter. And, Grimaldo's been good, too, the second half. A poor first half, and it's all the stars are starting to align for the away side at the minute.
How's the XG looking?
I'll check that out, actually. It's already up to 1.24, so they've added about 0.8 or so onto the XG just in the first. I think they were on around about 0.5 at half time. Just as again they win the ball deep. Another shot comes off there, but it's well defended by Zagadou. Grimaldo really starting to get in good positions now as well. Although Stuttgart can break here, and he breaks really well past Palacios there. It's Mittelstädt. Great play from him, breaking pass. Gets the ball into, although it's really well defended by Kosunu, I think there. Wow, Leverkusen just doing ridiculously well in the second half. They break again. They just need Frimpong to start finding his man. I mean, what's he been doing the last 2 weeks, really? He looks like he's lost his confidence almost a little bit. He's had so many poor crosses the last 2 weeks, but it's probably going to be him who gets the assist for the winner or something.
That's why I would say bring on Stanisic and go for a 4-2-3-1 reformat. Because if you do that, then Frimpong has some additional support on both the over and underlap. It would make a great deal of sense. I mean, I guess I understand why they feel it's just a mite too early to start making some changes here. I feel that, but I mean, it's you can solve that problem on the right-hand side with one substitution and a simple tactical reformat. At least that's how you can solve it in theory. On paper, as if football doesn't lend itself well to theory necessarily. But I'm looking at Frimpong taking timid touches and retreating. He looks low on confidence. He doesn't look the player that was just maraud. Well, basically for the last 3 seasons, it's just been pretty much flawless, really. But he has. I think last week might have done his confidence a bit because I think last week he got in behind about 10 or 15 times and he didn't play. No, he played one good ball, and that was the time when it was an offside goal, if you remember. But it was definitely, he's not on his best day today, and he has messed up a few good positions for the away side over the course of the afternoon. But interesting period now. I think the play has slowed down. Both sides are just tired after that first 10 minutes of the half, and the play is a little bit slower as we stand. Stuttgart just trying to get the foot on the ball again and trying to rebuild it into this match. But tactically, this is just so interesting. The quality on display as well. So many good players on this pitch. Players at the peak of the powers, really, at the minute. And it's just been a great watch, in truth. I mean, there should have been more than
the 2 goals, really. With a bit more luck, both teams could have had more goals. Good play there, though, by Stuttgart as they build a bit of space there through Stiller. And it's Anton now marauding forward. Oh, can he take a shot there? Oh, it's a centre-half shot, though. He did have space, but it was a centre-half shot, definitely. When
scored that.
Not even close to the net.
Yeah. Actually, we
see replays of the goals. Well, it was actually a really cute finish from Wirtz as well, because Nubel was in the right position where he should have been, and he only just beat his right foot there as well. But yeah, I mean, no idea which way this game is going to go because, Stuttgart are capable of getting another goal too, although a really poor clearance there from Nubel plays it straight to Frimpong, who just gives the ball straight to Palacios there again, rather than taking the run, which he probably would normally do in that position. Adli there, good little ball into Wirtz or Grimaldo. Grimaldo plays the ball in. It's good defending from Zagadou there to get ahead of Boniface, clear the ball away. He's become quite a half-decent defender now, Zagadou, hasn't he? Which is another one. I mean, he was a player that was killed at Dortmund, really, in his early days at Stuttgart. But he's another player that Hoeneß has improved, Peter.
I think the only thing, and we had a pretty in-depth discussion about Stuttgart and the personnel situation during the first half. The only thing that I think we neglected to mention this time around, at least, was the fact that they sold off all of their high-value players this summer. Wataru Endo,
they did, yeah.
Tinos Mavropanos, who I was just thinking about as I watched
Sousa.
Yeah, Borna Sosa, precisely. So, yeah, there was that headline in one of the kiosk clubs early in the season where it's like, yeah, weniger Stars, aber mehrere Sternen, fewer stars, but still more, well, it's a play on words with the Denglish, if you will. But that's absolutely what Stuttgart have been able to accomplish this season. Of course, Leverkusen, unquestionably the better team in the second 45 here thus far. We just need that. Oh, there's Frimpong. Oh, but wow, excellent tackle away from Mittelstädt.
Yeah. Yeah, I think players can get a bit overrated too. I mean, I think Sousa's an example of that, really. He had that one really, really good season, but I don't think he was ever like a world beater, really, in truth. I think by the end of his time, and you see it now, I think he just sits on the bench for Ajax, basically. He's never really been able to make himself a starter as the corner comes in, but again, it's well defended by guirassy this time. Yeah. But yeah, I think some of those players were probably a little bit overrated, and we rated them higher than probably what they should have been. I think Mavropanos was all heart and blood, but he did make errors at the back, let's be honest, and he's another one that's not really solidified himself in that West Ham side since he made the move. So maybe some of them were a little bit overrated.
How's Endo doing?
Endo's doing well. He's the one that's done really well. Oh, great play, Boniface! Oh! Jeez, he just took on amazing play from him, but a great block in the end. He managed to get, it's going to be a corner now for the Leverkusen. No, it's a throw in deep into the half. But yeah, Endo's doing well, actually. He's starting. I think he even scored the winner a few weeks ago for Liverpool, and he's been the one that's done well out of those kind of 3-star names, really, I think. Yeah, but to be honest, by the end of his stint at Stuttgart, I was already kind of over Sousa, in truth. I think he had a really poor final season at the club, and he got too big for his boots, as it'd say. He was like, he thought he was like a top-level player, but he never was that good, really. He was a great set-piece taker, but his overall play was not world-class by any means. And I think, Maximilian Mittelstädt, who nobody would have imagined it, but he's been amazing too. And even in the early part of the season, Stenzel as well. I know he doesn't start that much now, but early on in the season, he was one of the standout stars in the league as well, incredibly. So it does prove that some of these lesser names can do just as well. Yeah, Ballum in as well in the comments. Another 1-1 for Bayer. Well, I think you've missed quite a lot, Ballum. It's been a crazy match, and it's been a game of 2 halves so far, with Stuttgart completely dominating the first half, and then Bayer so far dominating the second. But yeah, Peter, I mean, what's going to happen? I think we are getting to substitution territory now. I would imagine we'll see a sub, at least one sub from both teams in the next 5 minutes or so. And who do you think is most likely to come on? Maybe Stuttgart too, because we've talked a lot about the Leverkusen possible subs, but do you think Stuttgart might make any too?
I mean, you can bring on Silas to freshen up that right wing in Milo's position. I did see Xabi Alonso engaging in a in-depth discussion with Jonas Hoffmann on the sideline. So Hoffmann is coming in, and I predict that you're looking at that aforementioned 4-2-3-1 reformat, which is the way he's going to go. I would bring in Stanisic as well. I would bring in Hoffmann for Frimpong and Stanisic for Kolsonu, and do the 4-2-3-1. Stuttgart, I think everybody's been. I mean, they've had some difficulty coping with the Leverkusen engine in the second half, but there's nobody that I can point to, especially that has played particularly poorly. So it's kind of difficult to know who you take off. I mean, it's who do you sacrifice when everybody still has good potential here? I mean,
it might just be a case of fresh legs, I think, because as I mentioned, Boniface is really having a storm of the second half too. He's literally taking on 3-4 players at once and getting through, although a massive tackle there from Zagadou breaks up his latest attempt. They're just dominating in all actions at the minute. They really look tired, Stuttgart. He keeps zooming in onto the players and they're breathing heavy. Football's a hard game when you've not got the ball, really. And it's like they've been given the run around basically this first 18 minutes of the second half. And it's again Frimpong who just cannot get a ball through to save his life. He's again tackled by Mittelstadt, who's absolutely dominated the battle between them two, by the way. I mean, he really has. He's been superb again, and he's a player that was a lot of people thinking he was going to be second league last season before Stuttgart kind of came in and gave him another chance at the Bundesliga, and it's really worked out for them, hasn't it? But he's one
of those Gata products that really had a lot of talent, but I mean, there was just no way for him to find success on the first team because the first team has been so consistently bad. So, I mean, a lot of people were surprised at that signing, and indeed, Mittelstadt took some time to find his way into the starting 11. I mean, that was Hiroki Ito's position, the back position for most of the opening 10 rounds or so of the season. He also did extremely well. When you brought up Sosa, and I'm pleased to know that Endo is doing well. I'd like to check in with you because you, of course, you have time as a broader football reporter to follow a lot of what's going on in the membership. Whatever happened to Kalajdzic? I heard he suffered another ACL tear not long after he joined Wolves. And then
he did. Yeah, it's not really worked out for him. I don't think he starts very much. I think he has scored a couple of goals off the bench, actually, but he's not starting games over there. And he just didn't get off to the right. I think he even on his debut, actually, if I remember rightly, he got an ACL on debut. So I mean, that's not cool at all. And I think nowadays he makes the occasional appearance off the bench, but he's not really tearing it up. I think one player that does score goals occasionally is Mateta. Do you remember him from Mainz? He still plays for Crystal Palace. He ended up doing he's been a regular in Crystal Palace's team for a good while now, and he seems to have made a good career for himself over in London there as well. So there are, and I think also another one is Mangala. He's doing well at Nottingham Forest. Remember him from Stuttgart, and also Awani too. Awani has really taken the league by storm, but he got a bad injury too recently. So, but he at one point I think he broke a record. I think he got like 7 goals in consecutive games or something for Nottingham Forest. So he's definitely taken the league by storm, Awani. But I think the kind of the results are mixed, as I've mentioned, like Mavropanos is just not getting much game time at all for West Ham. I thought he would because he looks like a Premier League defender. I mean, the guy's huge, absolute monster of a man.
Well, he did.
It really is. He's about 6'5" and probably like 100 kilos of muscle, I think, basically, He's big guy, but he's not really done it from what I can gather for West Ham. I mean, I'm not an expert on West Ham, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't start very often for them. And the same with Sousa as well. I've checked. I always check the players that leave the Bundesliga. And I know that Sousa's not really getting rave reviews in the few times he starts for Ajax as well. So, I think that was a case of good business for Stuttgart. Really. I don't think he was worth the 15 million that they got for him. Really, I think he was just he was a bit of a one-season wonder, if I'm being honest, Borna Sosa. I think he had that 1 year where Kalajdzic, he should have joined Wolves and reunited with Kalajdzic, because that partnership was just amazing for that year, really. It just seemed like everything he crossed in was being headed in by Kalajdzic. But I think the 2 seasons after that, he didn't really impress me that much, in truth. Yeah, and I think by the time 15 million was a good deal for them to get for him after his performances, especially in the last season he had at Stuttgart, were really quite poor.
Well, I've just seen the confirmation of the 2 substitutes, one from each side. It is indeed Hoffmann coming on for Frimpong, and it is Silas coming on for Mio. So, yeah, pretty predictable stuff. Or no, excuse me, it was Hoffmann coming on for Adli. So we're going to leave Frimpong on there. I don't know if that's necessarily the right move. Okay, we'll see. I mean, I like both. Okay, so Bayern have straightened up their left. Stuttgart have freshened up their left. Stuttgart have freshened up their right. So it'll be worth keeping an eye on Hoffmann versus Silas, assuming that the 2 players actually settle in on their respective sides. Like for like substitutions, that's probably going to be the case. Yeah. Damn it, Chubby. Come on. Don't make me start screaming for Patty Schick like I was last week either.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 minutes has probably been the only time in this game, really, that it's been a bit eventless, really. There's not been any chances in the last 5 minutes for either side. So it is a bit of a lull in the game. And I think we're going to be in for a big finish. Definitely the last 15 minutes. I think we might see they'll be Stuttgart now after dominating the half. Will be happy that they're even level, because the first 20 minutes, probably first 18 minutes of the second half was just a complete annihilation for the away side. But now all of a sudden they've won themselves a corner and they are starting to grow back into the game. So there could well be a winner in this game, but I think overall both teams will probably be happy with a point, in truth. Although this is the point when you've got to say to Leverkusen, they've got to show ambition here and say, we want the 3. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there will be stages in the season when Bayern will go and win like 6-7 games in a row. They do it every year. So this is the time now when Bayern are looking a little bit, dodgy. Then they've got to go out and punish them, and they've got to get the 3 points here, even though it is a very hard fixture. And this Stuttgart team are just absolutely superb. But if they can win this, that's a monster 3 points for them, really. If Leverkusen can get the win after that first half, this would be, despite all the great performances they put in this season, that'd be the best win. There's no question about that for me. But yeah, Peter, who do you think is the more likely winner as things stand? And do you agree with me that there's been a bit of a lull in the game the last 5-7 minutes?
Oh, absolutely, and I don't like either one of these substitutions. I think they're both boring. I can confirm now that that Silas has settled in on the Stuttgart right, and Hoffmann is working the Leverkusen left. So, what could be an intriguing chess match from the 2 trainers here is just not materializing, and that's most unfortunate. I think that there's a tactical tweak that can win this game. For either side, but neither head coach is taking any significant risks, and neither are the players, for that matter. As we settle into a little bit of a lull, probably time for us to start discussing East German football or something, like we did last week.
Yeah, hopefully we will get another kind of a kick in this game, because it was so good for most of it. But there is. Maybe players are kind of happy to take a point. I don't know. But I really believe that, especially for Leverkusen, they need to go out and show the ambition that they want to win this game. For Stuttgart, they're just living the dream anyway, so it's not that important that they win this game. And at the end of the day, they're already safe, which would have been their goal at the start of the season. They probably need, another 3-4 points to get mathematically safe by Christmas.
I don't think you could look at a point taken from this fixture as a success for Stuttgart by any stretch of the imagination. Given how furious they were in that first half, they absolutely needed to follow that up and collect all 3 points. We're down to the final 20 minutes now, which means, and the game is drawn, which means that we could be in for an exciting finish. Not uncommon at all in football for teams to take, say between the 65th and the 80th minute a little bit easier, so they can, summon up some energy reserves. We've all been there on the football pitch, in which we say, okay, I'm going to save what I got left in the tank for the final 10 minutes. Let me just trot a little bit. Let me take some time. Let me get those legs waking up a little bit more. So we could and should still be in for an exciting finish. And it could
just
come
as a chance there as well. They got a lucky ricochet. And it was actually really good defending again from Zagadou there to stop the ball going through to Hoffman. It was a bit of a scrappy play, really. A few lucky ricochets for Leverkusen, which ended up being a really good ball in, but it was well intercepted. It is a corner as well. The corners are starting to rack up in this second half again for Leverkusen, by the way. But they have been better this week, definitely. Oh, it's a shot on target there. Who was it who had that shot in the end? It was, it was Frimpong actually who had the shot. And it's, it looked as though it was going to loop over Nubel at one point, but that is the first shot on target for a while. Oh, some of the playing out from the back at the minute from Stuttgart is looking a little bit leggy. And I'm not, although good play from Anton, who, by the way, has had a superb game as well. He carried the ball out, but ends up kicking it out of play there. But he did well to relieve the situation. There is another sub coming here as well. It's going to be for Bayer Leverkusen. It's going to be...
Schick. All right.
Well, it's going to be, it's Boniface who's coming off, is he here? Boniface is coming off, and I think it is going to be Paddy. I think he's just run himself into the ground because he's had a really good game today, Boniface, actually. Far better than last week. But he looks exhausted after a hard day. A lot of work off the ball today for Leverkusen as well. It's going to be Paddy who gets the last 17 to 20 minutes, including extra time here. Are you surprised by that, Peter? Are you surprised he's not gone for both of them on together, or do you think he's done the right thing there?
That worked out well last week to have the two there together. I mean, now it's just another straight like for like, and I still haven't seen. So they're gonna remain in the same shape here. Of course.
Would you like to see a little bit more ambition from Jabi here? Because as I've said, I think really they need to try and win the game, because draws are all good and well, but really when you've got a team like Bayern on your tails, you need to be winning games, And I think a point isn't a bad result by any means for Leverkusen after that first half. It keeps them unbeaten, but if you really want to go out and say we want to win this, that would show great ambition, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah. I would like to see him, I don't know how many times I got to say it with a 4-2-3-1. I mean, I think that would be really the key to unlocking this match. As we see that Stuttgart are going to make a double substitution too. Stergiu is going to come on to relieve one of the defenders, and Leverling, I believe, is going to probably come on in place of, I guess it'll be Führich. So, we'll see. I mean, it has to be Führich. I mean, you don't want Bundav and guirassy off the pitch at this point in time.
That's when you see like a little bit of points about the strength in depth. I mean, Leverling obviously is not Paddy Schick. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we talk about. Like, strength in depth is big in football, and like even though Stuttgart do have good options off the bench, like Leverling has not really set the world alight since he moved to Stuttgart.
Good matches, but I mean, well, look, Paddy Schick hasn't been Paddy Schick for several years. So, I mean, Leverling is. I mean, he's had some good matches. Mostly on the right. I mean, if he's going to come on from Führich now, he's going to be on the left. And I don't think I've ever seen him on the left this season yet. So it's kind of a curious move. As we see Silas doing some nice fancy footwork there, keeping the ball in possession.
It seems that he changes clubs every year as well, Leverling. I'm pretty sure this is like his third club in 3 seasons. I think he played for Fürth, then he had 1 year at Union, and he just didn't get any game time there at all, did he, in their Champions League season? But yeah, obviously now he's at Stuttgart as well. He does get a bit more game time, but he probably warms the bench far more than he would like to at times. Maybe he'll even make another move next season. Who knows? He's definitely a player that likes a move, doesn't he, Leverling? Although he is going to come on now.
Yeah. He's had some good matches. He was really good. I forget which one it was. I think it might have been match day 11 or something, where he was just an absolute beast. But he was on the right that week. And he's not necessarily proven on. Let's see which defender he's going to yank off in favor of Stergiu.
Mittelstadt off for Stergiu.
Oh, it's going to be Mittelstadt. Okay. Stergiu. Okay. Has he played this season? I'm trying to remember. He's played.
I think he's had a few sub appearances, but he's just a relief player, I think, really, that just comes on for the last 10, 15 minutes.
Right. Okay. I don't even know if he's, trained to be a fullback. I think that
Surprising sub for you, that one, Peter. I mean, obviously it's a big last 15 minutes here, and some great playing out of the back there has opened a bit of space up for them as well. And it's going to be Frimpong in here again. Oh,
well, we'll see. That could be.
He's lost the ball again. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. I'm worried about his form because he's a key player. He really is a key player, but he really well played again though through the midfield. Palacios and Jack have been so much better this second half too. Like they've really got back on the ball and showed the class after being pretty much passengers in the first half. Although it's just Frimpong, really. He's the only one player that I worry about at the minute because this is his second back-to-back game where I've just not been impressed with him at all. Yeah, but it's Grimaldo was poor the first half, but second half he's really kind of stepped up again. So, and I think nobody can complain about Grimaldo this season. He's just been ridiculous. Yeah, but I think it is, for me, it's Leverkusen definitely looking the more likely to win this game. I mean, Stuttgart just done nothing the second half at all, basically. Let me check the XG as well, actually, because it was 2.98 after the first half. It is now 3.0, so they've only had 0.02 in the second half. Wow, that's just incredible numbers. Yeah, and for Leverkusen, it's almost 2 now. It's 1.92, so they've added like 1.5 onto their XG in this half so far. Once again, it's Leverkusen who break. Just don't give it to Frimpong. It's going to be Grimaldo who runs. Oh, geez, what an interception. I think it's your man Sturgeon who gets a great interception in there. It looks as though Paddy was going to get his big chance there, but it was a great interception from Sturgeon. Great play from Grimaldo there as well. But yes, they're starting to get into gear a little bit as well now. Leverkusen again.
I'm trying to see if this is maybe a back three reformat for Stuttgart. Doesn't look like it. I think that let's see.
Oh, what is he doing again, Frimpong? He cannot play a decent ball to save his life at the minute. He's just had probably the best chance he did to put Schick in. He plays it behind him. Awful ball there. He's got to be finding his man. Schick's in the perfect position. He just cannot. He plays it behind him. It's a simple pass, really, there, Peter.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, I think Xabi will really regret the personnel choices and the tactical choices that he made in this one, because I mean, despite the fact that there was a lot of improved play, they were still in the 3-4-3 the whole time, and the improved play really came from stacking Xhaka and Palacios on a vertical split. Whereas, really what he needed to do was get Hoffmann in on Frimpong's side, which is Hoffmann's more natural side anyway. So, I mean, I don't, it's difficult to ascertain why he decided to have Hoffmann on the left there, just taking Adli's place on a straight like for like.
I think for me, I would just have hooked Frimpong and maybe put Stanisic in, because Stanisic can play right fullback as well. Because the problem with Frimpong is not that he's not been getting into the game. He's just passing just been really poor, and he's just giving the ball away so much, and it just seems to be a loss of form from him in general. So I would have done that, to be honest. That would have been my just to give another guy a chance to get a good ball in on that right side.
Well, the problem, what we were talking about last week was that Frimpong had how many freaking cutbacks did he fail on? Yeah. That does a little something to a player's confidence, and the fact that if what you're doing, if your cutbacks aren't working, if your passes aren't crisply connecting, and things like this, it affects your timing, it affects your judgment, it affects your confidence when it comes to passing in general. So that's why his passing has been so poor. Is that he's seen so many of his artful attempts to cut back last week broken up.
I mean, that was a huge chance just 2 minutes ago there. Just as actually Stuttgart are going to get a shot away. Oof! It's well saved. The first shot in anger they've had. It was a great strike from Stiller. One of those unclean strikes that can often be quite difficult for keepers to deal with. It's actually Karatsoy who's been fantastic. He wins the ball off Palacios, and it's actually a decent chance there. He had a lot of space, and it's a slightly scuffed, but it's pushed behind in the end. I think it's ended up being a corner for VfB. So bit of it is a corner just coming in now from Stiller. He's going to put the corner in. Just stay with me for this. Great play from Karatsoy. He's another player that doesn't get as much credit as he deserves in that team. Oh, but it's easily out by, I think it was Schick, actually, who ended up getting the header on there. But yeah, I mean, that chance before, it won't make the highlights, but that was a massive chance there. Just all he needed was like a better pass, and it was only a 10-meter pass there, and he's got to be making that, and it would have been clean in for Paddy Schick to put it away. It won't register on the XG, I don't think, that chance, or very little anyway, but that is the kind of chance you've got to be taking the opportunity with, and there were a lot like that last week too for him against Dortmund, and he just cannot find his man at the minute, which is so unlike Frimpong, because he's been one of the best fullbacks in Germany for probably the last 2-3 years, hasn't he, really, Peter?
Well, he's a wing. I mean, initially he was a fullback, but when he came from, was it Celtic that he came? Yeah, I mean, he's only been a wing back, I would say, under Xabi's coaching regime. That's why, I mean, we talked about Stanisic, and we said it multiple times. If you want to reformat to a 4-2-3-1, bring on Stanisic as the right back, and then you can keep Frimpong on the pitch, but you can have Stanisic opening up some options for him a little bit, maybe helping him, find some attacking lanes and escape a little bit better. Here we have Wirtz trying to do quite a bit on his own. He's perfectly capable of doing so, but yeah, now we're stuck in. I mean, now it's a deep 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, now we got 7 deep for Stuttgart at this point in time. Stuttgart are going to try and play for the draw, or potentially get something on the counter here. Looks like Sebastian Hoeneß is closing up shop and is going to go ahead and be satisfied with the point at this juncture. So
you can't really blame him after the way the second half's gone, because it's okay, they've not had as many chances as what Stuttgart did in that first half, but the XG has mounted up. I mean, really on XG, we should be at 3-2 to Stuttgart here. That's what the XG says. And again, the goals haven't quite flowed as we might have imagined. Paddy Schick, oh, geez, great play from Nubel there too. It looked as though he was going to be one-on-one then, but it's great play from Nubel, who does sweeper keeper Manuel Neuer style and ends up clearing out. Looks as though Wagnerman has got cramp, maybe. Hincapié is coming on as well. Who's he going to come on for?
He'll come on for...
Palacios, actually. Palacios comes off. Wow. So is he going to move into defensive mid then, or what?
That's a curious change because... okay. All right. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Grimaldo is going to move up to the wing. Hincapié is going to take. He's going to be in the back three now. Okay, and then everybody's going to press forward in almost a 4-2-4 with Schick, Wirtz, Frimpong, Hoffmann, and Grimaldo all going ahead. Okay, well that's his best that Alonso can do. To signify all in at this phase. I mean, that's the best he could do. I think the point about Stuttgart not really having the greatest depth is one of the reasons why they weren't able to compete or replicate that first half performance. I mean, all that Hoeneß could realistically do was freshen up in terms of 3 likes, like for likes. Oh, now there's 2. Okay, now he's got Jeong. And what?
He's come on for Undav by the look of it, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Who else is on though? Is it Rouault? It's Rouault, actually. Yeah, the young Frenchman. Yeah, but Jeong, he's a player that I really like, but he's been unlucky because of great form from Mio and Fury, really. And Undav as well. Like, he's just not been able to get a long period in the starting lineup. But he is a good player, Jeong, I think.
Yep.
He's always been a bit unlucky because everywhere he's been, there's always been like an amazing player ahead of him. Freiburg, there was always Grifo and Salai who were like preferred to him, and now he's got the problem with Fury and Mio here, which it's unlucky because he really is a good player. Like when he gets a stretch of games, he can be really good. But at the minute, he's having to feed off scraps at Stuttgart, isn't he? So it'd be interesting to see if he can do anything this half. But yeah, we are starting to look as though it could end up being a draw this game. We haven't had quite the big finish that we hoped for after a very entertaining game overall. As we say, the XG, there should have been 5 goals in this match, but we've only actually had 2 goals.
Why don't we point that out? Is that now twice, we've done 2 watch-alongs, 2 Sundays in a row. On 2 consecutive prediction shows, we predicted 3-2 score lines.
Yeah.
And we've gotten 1-1 score lines. It looks to be the case. Yeah. And then, but this time the XG bore us out. It should be 3-2. Oh God, but that's a poor Frimpong. What are you doing? I mean, he dug a corner out of it, but
yeah, Frimpong he's become a problem in the last 2 weeks. He's been the worst player both weeks actually, and I don't want to get on his back too much because he is a great player, but it's become a problem now because the way Leverkusen play, they like the wide areas, and he's just not getting the balls in at the minute. It's as simple as that. But he has won a corner, so hopefully they can put something good in here and give us a bit of excitement this last couple of minutes. Grimaldo's going to put it in straight here, and it is good. Oh, geez. Nobody can get out there. Oh! How has that not gone in? John Tarr. He gets off. It's head tennis, and he smacks a beautiful effort. It looks in, Peter. It literally looks in. It's the keeper's at full stretch. He thinks he's beaten, and it's whispered past the post. That's so frustrating. It looked in for all the day, didn't it, Peter?
Yeah. Junge, as we say. That's also Derek Ray's one of his favorite phrases, German phrases. Yeah. Junge. Translating.
Great play from Frimpong there, though. One of the only good pieces of play he's had this game. And again, Leverkusen are coming on the attack. It's going to be Hincapié now. Maybe we will get this big finish. All the players in the Stuttgart half here, it's again.
Frimpong, Jesus, you had frickin' Hoffmann wide open on the switch.
Yeah. What is he doing? Really?
Oh God,
what is Frimpong doing at the moment? He took a great first touch in that move, didn't he? It was brilliant, but then he just completely messed up his own good work. Although Hincapié here getting a bit of space, not known to be the most attacking fullback in the world, is he, Hincapié? And he always likes to go back, usually, which is probably why he doesn't start that many games really in this Xabi Alonso team. But he does really well to keep it in there, though, Hincapié. It looks as though the ball had been laid astray. But it's all Leverkusen. They're looking for that one big chance. It looked as though that was it. But, Tarr, you can't really blame. It just wasn't to be with that chance. Although it is, again, it's at the feet of the main man, Jeremy Frimpong. And he takes on the man brilliantly, gets in. Oh, and he gets the ball in finally. But it's Paddy Schick gets the header on. It looks as though it's a corner. Finally, Frimpong gets the ball in clean there. He completely does. Who is it there that he completely does? That was great play, though, and it's unlucky from Schick, he's always waited in the right position, Schick, but it was well defended in this case. But it should be a corner, surely, in this case. It is a corner. It's going to be another corner, and they didn't deal with the last one very well. It just proves sometimes it's better just to get the corner in and not play it short. Oh, and again, it's found its man. This time, Tarr heads straight into the hands of Nubel. They tried to go long, but again, it's easily intercepted. And Stuttgart just can't get a break at the minute. But Peter, Leverkusen have had chances in this last 5 minutes. You will wonder, could they have got the win here?
Well, how many minutes of injury time were we getting since you're ahead of me a little bit?
Well, I didn't actually see it. I was checking the XG, which is, by the way, Stuttgart, Leverkusen have added just short of 2 full goals this second half, by the way. They're on about 2.35 now with mine.
Yeah, so, this was just...
5 minutes, 5 added, yeah.
5 says Ballum. Thank you, Ballum. Okay, yeah, I don't see how we get another goal out of this one, to be honest with you. I'll be listening to you with bated breath to see if we get something out of this, but it seemed to be the case that Xabi, I don't like his personnel or tactical decisions on this particular day, and Hoeneß also didn't do anything particularly brave, but what could you do? They played such a wonderful first half, and then they ran out of gas and they ran out of depth. I suppose this Leverkusen undefeated streak goes on, and that's impressive. But, when we looked at these blockbuster matches, when we looked at Dortmund Leverkusen and Stuttgart Leverkusen, if you told us beforehand that we'd be witnessing a pair of 1-1 draws, that's not exactly what we've been hoping for.
This has been a real entertaining game today, but it just seems though whenever we organise a watch along, the goals just don't go in. Although some really good play there from Silas, who goes past a lot of players, but it's easily kicked out for a throw-in by Hadatsky. But yeah, it just seemed nobody can complain about quality value in this game. I mean, as I say, the XG suggests it should be a little over 3-2. So like between 5 and 6 goals on the XG there should have been, and actually there's only been 2. So just seems like, yeah, defenses and keepers just always have the upper hand in these matches. But yeah, it has been very entertaining this today. Although Stuttgart, maybe could they win it? They've got a corner in the 92nd minute here, and right now, I think Leverkusen would be happy for the full-time whistle to be blown. But at halftime, it definitely didn't look as though the unbeaten streak was going to get to 22. But they are just a few minutes away from getting to that. It is going to be Stiller again who puts this corner in. Stay with me for this. Will we see a Valdemar Anton famous winner here for Stuttgart? Let's see.
That turbaned head.
The ball comes in. Oof! It's not well dealt with. Oh, but it's kicked miles over by Guirassy, who ironically hasn't. Oh no, it's not. It's Silas actually who hits it there. I was just going to say that Guirassy hasn't been as clinical as he normally is because he missed that massive chance in the first half at 0-0. But yeah, we are looking increasingly like a 1-1 draw. Just 2.5 minutes of extra injury time remaining, Peter. And yeah, I guess who would be the happier with the points here? Which team would go away happier, do you think?
I don't think either team could be happy with a point here. I mean, Stuttgart, as Moritz was mentioning at the beginning of they were when they were winning, they were ahead of Bayern, even though Bayern had a game in hand. And Leverkusen, I mean, 2 consecutive league draws with Bayern getting a chance to catch up is just not, it's not good enough. I mean, I think that they want to prove that they're a championship tier side. They want to get this Vizekusen stench, that moniker off of them. I think that both teams had a chance to win this match today, and I think also that both head coaches could have done better in some of their adjustments.
Yeah. Although there is a bit of a move opening here for Leverkusen again in the 93rd minute, although Silas has added real good energy to the defensive effort, although it has... Oh, what's that? What is that really from Hoffman? That was extremely desperately poor. He was in a good position. He just kind of loops. I don't know what he's going for. It's like a cross shot, but it loops onto the side, the overhead netting of the onion bag. And we're into the last minute of...
Why is he on the left? Damn it.
What's he doing, really? Some of the decision-making at times has not been that good from Leverkusen in this half. I think, you can't criticize the second half performance because they have been good. But as you say, they might leave with a slight bitter taste in the mouth, the fact they've not taken the 3 points here because, Bayern Munich will win this kind of game. They can get battered in the first half, then they come back and they'll win 3-1. But Leverkusen, it's still a good point, but is it a championship winning point? That's the problem. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to win titles when you've got a team like Bayern Munich on your tails. And they're probably going to remain unbeaten into Christmas now because they finished with 2 home games, I think, against Bochum and Frankfurt. So it's unlikely that they'll lose before Christmas now, although you never know given Frankfurt's performance today. But still, I mean, draws don't win championships. That's the problem. I know they've not drawn many games, but back-to-back draws now, it looks like. And Peter, do you think this is the start of maybe a derailment in their title challenge, or do you think it's just a slight... they played 2 good teams in Stuttgart and Dortmund who were well organized in the games.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the problem is that they've drawn Bayern, they've drawn Dortmund, and they've drawn Leverkusen.
And it is full time, by the way, so we can confirm it's finished a draw.
Yeah, the only other title aspirant that they've beaten convincingly, I think, was Leipzig on match day 1. And they're going to have to play Leipzig again in January once the Rückrunde begins. And Leverkusen, according to the stats I'm looking at, went ahead and topped Stuttgart with 3.18 to 3.1 xG. So yeah, I mean, this is something that calls into question, I think. I mean, look, they're still undefeated. Bayern, even with the game at hand, can't catch up with them. But your 3 draws came against Bayern, Dortmund, and Stuttgart, the 3 nearest challengers for the title. And so there's your problem. I mean, they have no problem. Leverkusen have no problem beating up on the other teams in the league, but it's Vizekusen for them until they can beat a title contender. or what we perceive to be a title contender at this phase of the season.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to come out of nowhere to contest for the title in the Rückrunde. Hoffenheim or Eintracht or Frankfurt, something like this, get into a miraculous phase. But you have to do better against your title challengers, and so this is something that's significant in that respect. I would say.
It's not like they're losing the games, but as you say, to win titles, you need wins. That is as simple as that. And they did manage. You've got to remember they did go away to a lot of those teams. They went away to Bayern. Although, the Dortmund and Leipzig games were at home. By the way, that is an interesting point because they are going to be coming up against Bayern and Leipzig early on in the Rückrunde too, because they played those games very early on. So really, I think if they win the last 2 games at home, which are against Frankfurt at home and Bochum at home, they'll be the last 2 games before the break. I think they'll be in a good position. Then they play Augsburg away, and then they've got Leipzig away. And we know that Leipzig love playing against the top team, so that's going to be a real hard one. They've got to make sure they win. For me, if Leverkusen want to win the title, they've got to beat pretty much everyone who's not a top team, basically. They've got to make sure they win all of those games, which they have done. They've literally beaten all of the teams that are not basically Bayern, Stuttgart, and Dortmund, effectively. So they need to keep winning those games, and then they might also have to hope that Bayern just have a bit of a poor run because they just don't go on poor runs. You know what I mean? Actually, the one time they did go on a poor run was last season, really. That was the year when they just didn't really hit the top form at any stage. But Dortmund obviously blew it on the final day in that case. But if Leverkusen want to win it, I mean, they are still unbeaten through 14 games and they've won 11 of those. So it's still amazingly good. But is it good enough to win a title with Bayern Munich waiting in the reins? As things stand right now, it looks quite good because obviously Bayern losing 5-1. A lot of people will be like, well, Bayern aren't that good. But regular watchers of the Bundesliga know that Bayern don't play like that every week. Let's say that much. And you can be pretty sure that they will bounce back either against Man United on Tuesday or against Stuttgart next Sunday, I think it is, actually. So, a lot of big games to come, Obviously, it is Bayern Stuttgart as well next week, which is going to be another big test for FC Bayern Munich. But, Peter, I mean, any final comments before we finish today?
No, I mean, it was always a pleasure to spend some time with you when we were oceans apart, unfortunately. And look forward to, wishing everyone a very happy holiday season as we get into that, as the holiday season and the Bundesliga blitz phase, as we like to call it, kicks into full gear. And looking forward to seeing you on the other side of this pond. And, for some more
rather big pond.
Yes. In 2024.
Just one last little thing from Balam as well while he's asking. I think he says prediction for Köln, mine, still going with you Thursday. I think I'm going to stick with a 1-0 Köln. It's going to be a really cold night. I think Mainz will have the better of the play, but I think Köln will nick it. I think Mainz are a better team, but I just have a feeling that Köln will have a little bit more desire to win this game. Are you sticking with your 2-0 for Mainz, Peter?
Absolutely. I think that I just was having a quick look at the lineups here, and I like how Mainz match up. Johnny Burkhardt is starting. And,
wow, that's great to see, actually.
Big news for Köln is that Florian Kainz has been benched. So not surprised. I mean, I think that Baumgart just doesn't know what to do with him anymore. So somehow Luca Waldschmidt working at 10. I just don't think it's going to work. Oh, and Stefan Tigges is starting above Davy Selke, as if does it matter?
That's a bit strange because Selke's been scoring a few goals recently, hasn't he? He plays all those bad games and stays on the pitch, and then all of a sudden he gets benched when he scores a few goals. That's a bit bizarre, but maybe Tigges has been really good in training or something. You don't know. Or maybe he's carrying a knock.
No, he's tried to switch back and forth between Tigges and Selke. I mean, trying to win the Stefan Tigges Davy Selke lottery is like trying to win the freaking Powerball. I mean, that's just not happening.
It is. I think until they sign a better striker, it's never going to get better in terms of goals for them. But I'm sticking with them to get a big winter win here today in Cologne. But guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your comments and everything from some new people, some old. If you enjoyed what you saw today, then check out our Twitter X at @OverTheBar, being at @OverTheBar Extra. And also don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But we've still got 2 more weekends of Bundesliga action. Well, 1 weekend and 1 midweek. So still 2 rounds of Bundesliga before the end of the season. I'm sure we'll have a couple of watch-alongs as well before then. So yeah, thanks for joining again, guys, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the review of week 14 tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.